This is Atomic Shinobi and today I'm going to narrate second part of What If Naruto Found Zabuza's secret hideout in waves. If you enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no time, let's start the story.
3 days have passed since the invasion, and Naruto has not recovered. Hinata was compelled to supervise the shinobi ranks until Naruto woke up because she was his girlfriend. She was dreading every minute of the paperwork she was doing in Naruto's room right now. As Hinata signed another document, she thought, "Oh, I wish I knew the shadow clone jutsu. How did I get back to being the temporary Hokage?" she pondered. Flashback. 3 days before, when Hinata arrived at the academy, she saw a heap of dead academy teachers and students outside, along with 4 squads of sound shinobi. Hinata felt like throwing up, but she forced herself not to. As her wings reformed, Hinata uttered, "We have to get inside." While they nodded, Hinata gave the order, "I will enter through the roof and you go through the back. There will be at least one team back there." With a flap of her wings, Hinata took off. Without the sound shinobi noticing, she landed on the roof with ease. Her head had bulging veins on the side. Byakugan, with 360 degrees of perfect vision, Hinata thought as she searched the school for the pupils. In the cafeteria, she noticed some. Hinata crept through the roof-top door and proceeded through the corridors in the direction of the cafeteria. She pushed the door open and immediately used her wings to block a kunai. Before Hinata was embraced by 4 kids, she said, "Uruka. Sensei, it is me, Hinata." As she gave her sister and her 3 friends Konohamaru, Udon, and Moegi hugs, Hinata said, "Hello you 4. Uruka questioned, "Hinata, what is happening?" Hinata stated, "Sound and Suna invaded Konoha." Hinata looked down and added, "Naruto-kun is fighting Gaara, the one-tailed Jinchuriki. He also had to fight Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, who were temporarily brought back to life by Orochimaru's Impure Resurrections jutsu," said Hinata. "He was able to beat them, but at the cost of receiving 3 horrible wounds to his stomach." She clarified, "I saw that he was using his chakra to slow the bleeding down, but that takes a lot of chakra." Uruka inquired, "Hinata, are you okay?" "I am fine, not a scratch. My feathers can become harder than steel," he replied. Hinata remarked, "But we need to find a way out of here." An Anbu landed beside her and said, "There is no way." She instantly inserted her wing into the man's chest. The man asked, "How did you know I wasn't an Anbu?" before collapsing. As her Byakugan activated, Hinata yelled, "Byakugan," and addressed the deceased man. "I am a Hyuga. The 2 Anbu sent with me are dead. 4 teams guard the front and 2 teams guard the back." "Uruka. Sensei, is there any tunnels in the cellar?" Hinata inquired as she attempted to peer inside. According to Uruka, "I don't know." As Hinata dragged him and the other teachers away from the pupils, Uruka informed her, "The principal would have known, but he died during the rush protecting the students." "What is it, Hinata?" As they gasped, Hinata explained, "Hokage Sama has died. The Anbu has placed Naruto as head of the village till another is found suitable." Looking at the windows, Hinata remarked, "We need to get to the cellar because it is more defendable than here." Hinata gestured toward them and said, "I will take the middle, Uruka. Sensei, and you will take the front. You will take between them and me, and you 2 take the back." Suddenly, Hinata noticed a chakra signature on the roof. "Who is that?" As Hinata saw the figure sprinting in their direction through the hallways, she thought. When Hinata recognized who it was, her eyes grew wide. As Heishi bounded through the doors, Hinata thought, "Father." "Out there, they are getting restless," Heishi stated, his Byakugan in motion. A teacher said, "What are you doing here, Heishi, Sama?" "My daughter was in danger and I find my other daughter here too," Heishi stated. Heishi went on, "Think about it." He inquired, "What is the plan?" Hinata declared, "We are heading to the cellar, father." Heishi nodded and raised an eyebrow as she gave the order, "You will be protecting the middle with me." With a motherly tone, Hinata said, "Okay, students, we need you to line up in rows of 3. Hanabi-chan, you stay close to me." One of the students called out, "Why does she get special treatment?" Heishi said simply, "She has activated her Byakugan." As Hanabi blushed slightly, Heishi clarified, "Hers isn't as strong as my own or Hinata's, but it is better than nothing." The students lined up, and Hinata said, "Come on, hurry up please." As they began to move through the halls, Hinata thought, "I hope I can save them all." She yelled, "Stop now," and everyone did. Heishi walked past the students and toward a tall man, saying, "I will take him." As Heishi gazed up at him with serene group eyes, the man said, "Hey, you think you can beat me?" Hanabi and Hinata yelled, "Be careful, father," as Hinata escorted the students outside once more. Hinata was searching for any signs of enemies with her Byakugan. When Hinata noticed a faint chakra signature, she thought, "Where are all of them? I'm sure some would have sneaked in." Hinata whispered, "Hanabi. Chan, do you know the chakra signatures of all the students known in the academy?" Hanabi gave a slight nod. "Take a look at the far left plant." As Hinata nodded and performed a brief series of hand signals before flapping her wings and taking off, Hanabi remarked, "Hinata.Nay. Chan, that is no one I know of." Blessed art. Barrage of 1,000 feathers. As her feathers flew toward the individual who deflected the majority of them, Hinata smirked and exclaimed, "Blessed art. 1,000 feather barrage cyclone. Let's get moving." Hinata declared as she landed on the ground, her feathers returning to her wings, as the feathers began to spin around the man, slicing him up and killing him. Hinata could feel the toll that using those attacks had taken on her. Hinata.Nay. Chan, are you okay? You're getting weaker, Hanabi muttered. On their way, she assured her younger sister, "This is nothing, Hanabi. Chan, I will be fine." Hinata pondered, "I don't know if I will be able to do that jutsu a third time," as her sister gave her a suspicious look. Iruka called out, "Hinata, we are almost there." "Okay." She called back as the group reached a door, and she watched as Iruka's partner opened it. "That took a lot more of my chakra," she thought as she tucked her wings back behind her and turned to face the man. "He is severely injured but alive. They knew we would go to the cellar, but I don't sense anything, nor can my Byakugan see anything," Hinata thought as she looked around, smirking a little as she pushed a button and a piece of the wall moved back and to the side, and she saw movement on the edges of her vision. "They're coming, go and escort them." But, as she approached the stairs, Hinata gave a firm command, "Do it." Iruka shook his head and escorted the student into the hallway. "I might not survive this," Hinata thought as she gazed at the sound shinobi after reaching the top of the stairs and seeing all 6 squads in front of her. "Hey, she is kinda cute, maybe we should play with her a bit," Amail replied. Before 2 of the group fell, a male voice said, "I don't appreciate you talking about my daughter like that." 60. 4 palms, 8 trigrams. As the group attacked the 2 girls, a feminine voice cried out as a man who had been sneaking up behind Hinata collapsed to the ground. Hinata turned to see Hanabi standing behind her, grinning, and saying, "We are family, Hinata.Nay. Chan. We will fight together." Kaden. A male voice yelled as 2 of the men were flung back by a chakra dome. Neji.Ni.San. Hinata cried out. Neji said, "Hello, Hinata." Sama. As they all attacked the squads, he added, "Like Hanabi." Sama said, "We are family and we will fight together." Feather barrage. Blessed art. As several hundred feathers flew toward the shinobi, Hinata cried out, "Blessed art." Feather barrage cyclone. As the feathers began to circle the men more quickly as Hanabi, Neji, and Heishi killed or incapacitated the shinobi, Hinata cried out and fell to one knee. Hinata. "Sama, how are you?" Neji inquired. Hinata stood up and said, "I will be fine. I will need a good night's rest to gain my chakra back," Hinata told herself. Calmly, Neji said, "You are lying to me, Hinata. Sama. I just need some rest, that is all, but I can't as long as this invasion is going on," said Hinata. Neji said, "Don't push yourself, Hinata. Sama." Despite Hanabi's reluctance, Hinata nodded and Neji put his fingers to the back of Hanabi's head, causing her to faint. Neji then lifted her and fled towards the tunnel. "I won't." Hinata promised. "Let's go. Neji, you escort Hanabi. Chan back to the other's father and I will go help the other shinobi." "How much longer can you endure, Hinata?" With seriousness, Heishi inquired. As the 2 leapt away, Hinata informed her father, "I can only fight with taijutsu. If I use any more chakra, I will pass out." Heishi stated, "The gentle fist depends on chakra. Kyubi. Chan has been training me for the past month in both the gentle fist style and another." Hinata said, startling Heishi, "And no, she isn't a demon." As she leapt away, Hinata and Heishi landed on the ground, where they expertly collaborated to kill the 2 men attacking Konoha shinobi. "Come, we're going to the arena where there are still people." Hinata gave the order, and one of the men opened his mouth, but shut it instantly due to Hiyoshi's glare. They arrived to find Kakashi and Guy engaged in combat with several sound shinobi, and Hinata grinned at the few sound shinobi still alive. Blessed art. Guided feathers of death. As the launcher made of 100 feathers flew toward the sound shinobi and embedded itself in their necks, chests, and stomachs, Hinata cried out and collapsed into her father's arms. A few hours later, when Hinata woke up, she saw that she was in a white room with Anbu stationed there and Naruto in the bed beside her. "My chakra is still low," she thought as she sat up weakly. And Anbu remarked, "Hinata. Sama, it is good that you are awake." What has taken place? Hinata inquired. Naruto. Sama beat Gaara. A woman replied. He is currently unconscious with a combination of severe blood loss and chakra exhaustion. She stated. Since you have proven to be a good leader and with Naruto Sama unconscious, you will have to take over as leader because you are also his girlfriend and knows him best, she stated. What? Hinata stumbled. You are the leader until either Naruto awakens or a better, more suited leader is picked. The woman replied. Right now the council has been awaiting for either of you to awaken. Weakly, Hinata got out of bed and said, take me to them. End of flashback. The words Jiraiya, Hokage, and next were all she could make out during the awful council meeting. They gave me such a headache, she thought, massaging her temples. Naruto-kun, why can't you wake up already? Hinata inquired. Well, what? A sleepy voice inquired. Naruto-kun. Hinata exclaimed, turning around to see her blonde boyfriend rubbing his eye and winced in pain. He looked at his stomach to see he still had blood seeping from his stomach. Don't move, you are still hurt, she cried out before gently making her way back to the bed. What took place? Naruto inquired. According to Hinata, you have been unconscious for 3 days, and I have been worried sick. I apologize. With a painful wince, Naruto questioned, what happened while I was away? Naruto inquired. Hinata moaned a little and explained, I basically signed papers because I was temporarily placed in the Hokage position because I was your girlfriend. Naruto said, sitting up straighter, okay. As Naruto nodded, Hinata continued, the council has been looking for a new Hokage. Arrow. Sensei was nominated but he declined because he has to keep his spy network up. Hinata whispered, don't ever do something like that again. And then gave him a hug. Naruto put his arms around her and said, I cannot promise that. He then squeezed her a little and added, but I will try not to get hurt like that again. From the window, Jiraiya said, I'm sorry to bother you too, but I need Naruto to accompany me. However, he just awoke. Hinata cried out, and Naruto and I are going to go retrieve her. Jiraiya stated, the next Hokage has been picked. Naruto sat up and gripped his stomach, saying, okay. Naruto, I promise to take it easy. Naruto interrupted the girl, saying, I have to do this Hinata. Hinata grudgingly said, okay. When are we going to depart? Naruto inquired. Jiraiya said, 30 minutes, and then disappeared. Naruto exhaled tremblingly, and Hinata said, Naruto-kun, you can't go, you are still seriously hurt. As he struggled to pull his shirt over his head, Hinata shook her head and assisted him in putting on his clothes. I have to. Naruto said. For the same reason Sarutobi. Gigi didn't cancel the Chunin exams when he found out about Orochimaru, we need to keep up a strong front. As Hinata put it, please be safe Naruto-kun. Before letting out another trembling breath, Naruto said, I will do my best. He then told her, you must also be safe. Before giving him a hug, Hinata remarked, I will do my best too, Naruto-kun. It will take us a while to make it to the gate. You are a hero now, she added. Hinata let out a low growl, and Naruto whispered again, oh no, that means more fangirls. Hinata's voice was dangerous as she said, they won't touch my Naruto-kun. Naruto whispered into her ear, sending a warm chill down her spine, I wouldn't want anyone else but you to touch me. He also said, my little arrow. Tenshi. This made her blush. Hinata muttered shyly, you shouldn't say something like that. Naruto kissed her lightly on the neck, causing a quiet groan to slip out of her mouth. We should get going before we get too into this. An arrow. Sensei comes to get you. Hinata said in a husky voice. Speaking softly into her ear, Naruto said, well, I could always put up that sound and sight barrier. Naruto rubbed his shoulder in remembrance as Hinata said, as tempting as that is, I have to decline. She pushed him away gently and said, you are hurt and I may get a bit rough at times. Hinata blushed softly. Naruto groaned in agony as he slipped into his cloak and said, yeah, you're right. Hinata informed him, I still think you shouldn't go. I know that Hinata. Naruto replied, but the arrow, sensei won't. Avoid cocking me that. Naruto and Hinata both heard a shout in the distance. After blinking a few times, Naruto leaned in to kiss her but she resisted, saying, well, that was odd. Nah. Hinata continued, think of it as a punishment. No kisses till you are healed. When the two of them left the hospital, Naruto was shocked that people actually stopped to ask him if he was okay. He would always respond that he was fine now, even though his wound was still bleeding. Naruto pouted, then flipped his hood up and muttered, you sure know how to punish a guy. He then put an arm around Hinata for support as he walked. As they arrived at the gate, Hinata instructed him, Naruto-kun, remember to change the bandage every other hour. She also advised him to clean it out before rebandaging it. According to Naruto, yes Hinata. Chan. Hinata continued, pointing to her eyes, I will know if you are lying. I will know if you don't take proper care of it. As Naruto put it, okay Hinata, Chan, we need to be going. Bye Naruto-kun, I will be missing you, she replied. Naruto grinned and said, I know, we must go, Naruto. Come on, Jiraiya shouted. All right, old pervert. Naruto yelled back angrily and instantly winced in pain. Damn, I am still injured, you know. Naruto pointed to his stomach and hissed in agony before limping over to Jiraiya. And for some strange reason Chan hasn't fixed it. As he hovered his hand over his stomach and went through a series of hand signals, Jiraiya said, fine, come here. Kyubi will be out of commission for a while. She has almost no chakra. As the two began to leave, Naruto remarked, well that sucks. After 3 days. Okay Naruto, we will be staying here for a few days. Jiraiya said, and I will teach you the 3 downfalls of a male shinobi. Naruto had to change his bandages once more, and they needed to gather food and information as they entered a border village that was dispersed throughout the land of fire. Jiraiya stated, they are gambling, money, and females. He then gave the order, now hand over your money pouch. Why ought I to? You have more money than I do, and you peep on women and you gamble, Naruto said as women began to glare at Jiraiya, to which he responded directly. He took off his hood, and girls ranging in age from 10 to 20 stared at the attractive boy. Plus I already have a girlfriend, Naruto said, as the two heard groans of disappointment. A bold woman approached him. Shinobi-kun, your girlfriend doesn't have to know if have a little fun, the woman replied. Ignoring the woman's breathtakingly gorgeous figure, Naruto said indifferently, my girlfriend is the heir of the Byakugan, I think she would know. Jiraiya declared, I am free. The woman turned back to Naruto and said, sorry, I don't like old men. Byakugan? As he pulled out his fat money pouch, threw it at Jiraiya, and turned to leave, he added indifferently, a dojutsu of Konoha that is known as one of the most powerful in history. Anyone who wields it has the ability to see chakra points, and has X-ray vision, meaning she could tell if I am lying. Gazing greedily into the pouch, Jiraiya heard Naruto's agonized laughter in the distance as pink dust blew out, covering him, and was quickly followed by a boxing glove that was attacked to a spring, striking him in the face. You old pervert, you shouldn't have looked. As he left, Naruto cried out in agony, I'll be at the hotel. As he left the elderly man, Naruto called out. As he left, Jiraiya was being laughed at by a number of women. When Jiraiya opened the pouch and found a note that read, do not think of getting me back, my retaliation normally comes with property damage, signed Naruto, he thought, I will get that boy. Jiraiya then looked at the Kitsune Hanyu drawn on the note's bottom. Alongside Naruto, when Naruto noticed a booth selling masks, he went over to take a look at them. Well, it looks like there's a fair today, Naruto thought as he strolled through the village. Do you have any interests? A man inquired. My Naruto considers Konohamaru to be his little brother. Not really. Naruto honestly responded, me wearing a mask is kind of useless since most of the time I have my hood up. But my little brother and his 3 friends would like some. So, what is their age? The man inquired. Naruto answered, 8. He went on, 2 boys and 2 girls. He laid out a few masks and remarked, the girls like these. He then laid out more and said, and the boys like these. Naruto put some cash on the counter and said, all right, I'll take the masks of the cat and bird for the girls and the dog and monkey for the boys. The man put the masks in a bag and said, thank you sir for coming. Naruto kept going until he reached a store selling kimonos, where he looked and entered to find a 14-year-old girl working behind the counter. Well, how can I assist you? The girl asked in a flirtatious manner. As he watched the girl lose some of her confidence, Naruto remarked, well, I need to get a kimono for my girlfriend. Before Naruto gave her Hinata's measurements and favorite color, she said, well, I will need to know her bust size, waist, hip, height, eye color, hair color, and her favorite color. You kidding right? The girl inquired. Naruto said simply, nope. What shade of blue does she prefer? She inquired. Look at the color of my eyes. The girl nodded when Naruto said, a little darker than that. How long have you known your girlfriend? You seem to know a lot about her, she inquired. In response, Naruto said, 5 years. What is the duration of your relationship? She inquired. Naruto said, almost 3 months. The girl was stunned. What kind of material do you want this made of? She muttered, sheesh, I wish some of my past boyfriends were as perceptive as you. She inquired. Naruto added, and your finest and softest silk. Don't worry, you will find someone who will love you for you. She cautioned, our best silk is expensive. Are you familiar with the Konoha Black Death? With a hidden smirk, Naruto asked. She stated bluntly, yeah, he is known in the Land of Fire. I am a huge admirer of him. As she stared at him, Naruto said, well, you are one of many of my fans. He shocked the girl by saying, I am Naruto Uzumaki, also known as the Black Death of Konoha. He bowed his head to her, saying, I would have bowed properly, but a recent fight of mine has left me wounded in the stomach. You are T the B Black D Death, aren't you? After Naruto nodded, she stammered and squealed, saying, wait till my friends hear that I am making something for the most desired man in the Land of Fire. Naruto informed her, don't forget to tell them I am already taken. She said to him, if you kiss me, I'll give you half off. Naruto laughed and remarked, no need, I can afford any price you hand out. What is your secret, Naruto-kun? A voice asked, causing Naruto to tense up. Naruto turned and thought, no, it can't be. Can I amputate his arms and legs to prevent him from performing the same stunt as before? An upright, blue man inquired. Gazing at the two, Naruto uttered, Itachi Uchiha and Kisame. Come with us Naruto-kun and no one will get hurt, Itachi replied. Why don't we go outside so I can escape without making this shop explode like I did to that inn last time, said Naruto. I do not fall for the same trick twice in a row Naruto-kun, Itachi replied. When Naruto saw Itachi activate his Mangekyo Sharingan, his eyes immediately lowered, and he thought, I don't know if I will last a few seconds with them. You realize that I have power over your inner self? Itachi inquired. As he rushed out the window onto the street, Naruto said, well right now she is a bit low on chakra so I have none running though me. Where is Ero? Sensei. Naruto thought as he spun around and painfully withdrew his katana, coughing up some blood and blocking a downward chop from Kisame. Wind style. Air strike slash. I won't last long like this. Naruto screamed as he unleashed an upward blade of wind, which pushed Kisame into the air. He grabbed his stomach as he stood weakly and glared at the two, feeling his blood seeping into the bandage. If you keep doing this I will bleed to death. Naruto warned, attempting to get them to leave. Now that is unacceptable, Naruto-kun. What would Hinata-chan think of that? Itachi replied. Lowly, Naruto warned, don't you go near her. Itachi calmly remarked, my that warning is a bit late, we just came from Konoha. Naruto took a menacing step forward but nearly fell to his knees. Grasping his stomach in agony, Naruto felt the blood-soaked bandages and said dangerously, if you hurt her I will make you pay. Itachi, I have held my hate and now I will kill you. The three shinobi heard, turning to face Sasuke. As his Sharingan came to life, Sasuke shouted. I thought you said that you were the last Uchiha with the Sharingan, Kisame replied. A few hand signals were demonstrated by Naruto. Summon. He muttered, pressing his hand to the ground, and a tiny puff revealed a small one-tailed blue fox. Krona go get Jiraiya, Naruto said feebly. Krona said, yes Naruto. Sama, and took off running. As he watched Sasuke charge a Chidori up, panting, Naruto tried to stand but fell to his knees again. Why would Kakashi teach Sasuke that? Naruto asked himself as he watched Sasuke charge at Itachi, who quickly grabbed the arm and violently twisted it, making a loud snapping sound. Before kicking Sasuke into the wall, Itachi remarked, you didn't hold enough hate little brother. Itachi then materialized in front of Sasuke shortly after his back struck the wall, grabbing him by the throat, holding him up, and staring into his eyes. You fell for the same tricks. Itachi said as Sasuke screamed and passed out. Now Naruto-kun, where were we? Kisame, we are leaving. We are not strong enough to fight both a Sannin and Naruto-kun. He said, turning to face a tall, white-haired man behind Naruto. The two leapt away. How are you, Naruto? Jiraiya posed a serious question. Lifting his shirt to reveal the dark red bandages, Naruto responded, I have lost a lot of blood. He grimaced in agony and said, go check on Sasuke, I had to rebandage this anyways. Jiraiya approached Sasuke and said, fine, however, he continued to watch Naruto. Excellent entry. Naruto's head snapped up to see guys standing over Jiraiya's body, and he blinked a few times as a male voice yelled, followed by a yelp of pain from Jiraiya. Naruto muttered, wow, the ultimate weirdo knocked out the ultimate pervert. Master Jiraiya, I apologize, as he assisted the toad in Sage. Up, guy yelled. How come you kicked me? When snakes tore Jiraiya and Guy apart, he cried out. Naruto, what happened? Anko insisted. Naruto smiled up at her and lied, saying, Sasuke. Teme came to get revenge for a prank I did a while ago. As you can see, he was on the receiving end of an ass whooping. Come on, you think Sasuke Teme could beat me? Naruto inquired. When she saw Guy pick Sasuke up, she thought, he's lying to me. What was the prank? I took a picture of him in a pretty adorable position and sold it to the females of my class at 20 Ryo a pop. Naruto told her the truth. Why was he so cute? Anko inquired. Ask Sakura, she bought 50 photos, you will get a major kick out of it, replied Naruto. Naruto, how is your wound? When Anko noticed the blood spilling onto the floor, she inquired. Naruto smirked and said, I was about to rewrap it when Guy knocked out the ultimate pervert. It reopened. As Guy and Naruto covered their groins in fear, Anko snarled, oh, that reminds me. She then stalked over to Jiraiya, lifted him off the ground with her snakes, and pointed a kunai at his groin. If he comes back a pervert, I will neuter you and then have the medics reattach them so Hinata can get a go at them. He trailed off. Anko. Chan, we have to get going while as a kunai zittered between his legs. With a low voice, she said, another word and I won't miss. Goodbye, Naruto.kun. Naruto was still kneeling when the villagers began to stare into the street after Anko yelled and fled. Naruto, feeling weak from the blood loss, said, you know you perv that I need help. Shut it, brat, I just got kicked in the head by a freak, Jiraiya replied. I have a reopened stomach from 2 kunai stab wounds and a katana stab wound. Which is more serious? Jiraiya shook his head before picking Naruto up after he asked sarcastically. You are aware that when you return, Hinata will murder you? Jiraiya informed him. Jiraiya shook his head and Naruto said, most likely, but I couldn't run. She doesn't care about that, all she will care about is that you did something reckless, he stated to Naruto. As they entered a hotel, Naruto joked and laughed painfully, saying, so can you leave me in an alley? I am sure that will be less painful. After 2 days, Jiraiya had searched for signs of Akatsuki and his former teammate, while Naruto had been in bed for the past 2 days, allowing his wound to heal once more. Arrow. Sensei, you never did tell me who the new Hokage is going to be, Naruto replied. Jiraiya stated, it is my teammate Tsunade. The slug princess. She is the best field medic. Nin in the business. He blushed slightly and remarked, she would beat me in a second if she wasn't upset. She has a large breast, don't you think? With no emotion, Naruto asked. Jiraiya drooled down his chin and said, oh my god, you will never see any as big as hers. Naruto stated plainly, I don't care about that kind of stuff. Even if Hinata gets a lot of breasts. As he began to envision Hinata in the future, he asked, but was cut off when a katana was placed firmly against his throat. In his mind, Naruto added, only I can think of her like that, do not think of my Heim like that. Have you gotten a lead on your teammate? Naruto sheathed his katana and asked. Jiraiya informed Naruto, yeah, supposedly she was seen in a town about a week away. Said to be? Naruto inquired. Jiraiya told him, she has been evading me for the past 13 years, Naruto, and I was unable to locate her at all. Jiraiya thought, I wanted her to look after you. When do we depart? Naruto inquired. Jiraiya informed him, immediately, she might not be there anymore. Naruto nodded and stood up with the aid of his katana. As he feebly put on his clothes, Naruto reflected, this katana was not meant to be a crutch. Jiraiya said, come on, we have to go. Naruto nodded, and the two departed the hotel. As he approached the kimono store, Naruto said, I have something to pick up for Hinata. He pushed the door open and saw the girl behind the counter, who smiled at him. Hello, Naruto said. She said, hello Naruto. A little embarrassed, Naruto said, I apologize for the window. He then took a scroll from his cloak, set it on the table, and wrote a kanji on it. A pile of money appeared, and the girl stared at it. This should be enough money, Naruto said, and the girl nodded. With evident disappointment, the girl said, well, here's your kimono. I hope your girlfriend likes it. I wonder if this will keep Hinata from killing me, Naruto thought as he left the store after taking out another seal and sealing the kimono inside. Thanks. After 7 days after arriving at the next town, where a festival was taking place, Jiraiya told Naruto. Okay, Naruto, you can go off for an hour or two to have a bit of fun, but later I have a very powerful ninjutsu for you to learn. As the two parted ways, Naruto said, okay. The pervert pocketed my money pouch, Naruto thought. Alongside Jiraiya. I think I might kill the boy, Jiraiya thought as he held the money pouch away from him and opened it. When he looked inside, he saw that nothing had happened, but a blast of blue paint covered his face. How does he fit this much paint into his wallet? Jiraiya asked himself, wiping some of the paint off before looking inside again and seeing that it was filled with purple powder and water. Alongside Naruto as he made his way through the vendors, Naruto thought, I wonder if Sensei opened my wallet. He played a few games, sighed in boredom, and felt his stomach growl. I should buy some food, he thought as he made his way to the food section, where he bought a bunch of food and sat to eat it while a group of girls crowded around him. Why me? Naruto asked himself. Who are you? A girl inquired. Before he took a bite out of his food, Naruto said, Naruto Uzumaki. The girl remarked, that is an interesting name. Simply, Naruto said, thank you. Do you only know 2-word answers? She inquired. Could be. Naruto put back. Are you dating someone? She inquired. Naruto responded, yes I do. She added, if you date me, you can be influential. I am related to the leader of this village. She stared at Naruto, who said simply, my girlfriend is Hinata Hyuga, the eldest daughter of the Heishi Hyuga, the head of the Hyuga clan. Plus I am the Black Death of Konoha. I don't need more influence. The girl pressed, she wouldn't know if you had a fling. Naruto turned to the girl and said, you obviously don't know about clans of Konoha. The Hyuga have the Byakugan, a dujutsu that allows them to see everything in 360 degrees, chakra points, and see through things. Tell me, do you think it would be wise to mess with her? Naruto inquired. As he finished his meal, Naruto thought, geez, what is wrong with me? I need to go find Sensei, he thought, and as he stood weakly, he said, sorry ladies, but I have to get going. I hate being wounded, he said, but was stopped by 2 heavily armed guards. What? Naruto inquired. One of the guards said, the head of this village has asked you to come. As they once more intercepted Naruto, he said, sorry, but I am on a mission. The other said, that does not matter. Want to start a conflict with Konoha? I am on a mission to find the new Hokage and all it takes is a message from me to have 100 Anbu here. Naruto said, growing irate, now move. The guards stood their ground, and in an instant, Naruto's katana was in his hand, and the guards drew their weapons, or at least the hilts of them. Do not mess with me. I am Naruto Uzumaki, the temporary Hokage of Konoha and the Black Death of Konoha. Naruto warned, sheathing his weapon and passing the 2 terrified guards. Sheesh, just because they have weapons they think they can boss people around, Naruto thought as he walked, surrounded by 30 guards. The head of the village demands to see you, one responded. To keep an eye on his back, Naruto withdrew his katana and held it in front of him. You do realize I am a 5th degree master in Kenjutsu, right? Naruto inquired. A fat man said, put your weapons away. I am Hakoda Manra. I just wanted to see you to apologize for my daughter's disrespect. I am sorry about their rudeness, the man said, addressing Uzumaki. Sama. Sheathing his own weapon and hissing in pain, Naruto said, think nothing of it. I need to go meet Jiraiya. Sensei now. Naruto felt strange addressing Jiraiya in such a dignified manner. Sorry to hold you up. Hakoda offered. As Naruto put it, no problem, one question. What is closest to the main gate? A strip club, a hot spring, or a place with women in skimpy clothing? Naruto inquired. It is right there. Hakoda pointed to a club and said, a club that has scantily clad women. Using his katana as a crutch, Naruto said, thanks, I hate being wounded without Kyuubi, he thought, transforming into a cute little boy. When Naruto entered, he saw Jiraiya with 3 women surrounding him. Grandpa, why did you leave me at the gate? What is this jutsu you wanted to show me? Naruto asked, appearing to be about to cry. Jiraiya's mouth fell open, and Naruto changed back to his normal self. Naruto inquired. Jiraiya, I hate you Naruto. Naruto answered, whatever you say Sensei. With a perverted giggle, Jiraiya said, come back in 15 minutes. Naruto turned and walked straight into a man, who spilled a drink on his coat, more like 2 seconds. Naruto muttered, ouch, that hurt. Hey brat, the boss paid 300,000 ryo for that coat you just destroyed, a man cried out. Naruto added, he spilled his own drink on his coat, like I care. Are you aware of who you're referring to? Another man inquired. This man is the great Gantetsu, an ex-Chunin of Iwa. The man uttered those words. You know I have a run-on site status with anyone under Chunin rank? Naruto asked. I'm a no-named Iwa Chunin. I am Naruto Uzumaki, the Black Death of Konoha, Naruto said in response to the question. As he advanced on Naruto, Gantetsu remarked, "Hey, I bet Iwa would love to have you." As he held his arm back and a ball of chakra formed, Jiraiya remarked, "I suppose you will see a demonstration on what you will be making." Naruto thought, "That is similar to my jutsu, Rasengan." Jiraiya yelled as he slammed the ball into Gantetsu's stomach, making him pinwheeling backwards into a stand. Jiraiya and Naruto walked towards Gantetsu. Jiraiya lifted the man up easily and took his wallet and handed the vendor some money. "You have no problem paying for the damages, don't you?" As Gantetsu moaned, Jiraiya said, "And we will take all the balloons and rubber balls you have." The vendor nodded and gave Jiraiya a big bag. "Come on, Naruto," Jiraiya said as he escorted Naruto a short distance outside the village. "What is the strength of this jutsu?" Naruto inquired. "Look at this tree," Jiraiya asked as he quickly made the Rasengan and slammed it into the tree, making it disintegrate. "That is how powerful." As the wind gathered and condensed into his palm in the shape of a sphere, Naruto held his palm out and whistled. "That is powerful, but check out my own jutsu. Seems like yours is the exact opposite of mine. Mine is elemental manipulation and yours is chakra manipulation." Naruto slammed the ball into a tree. And nothing happened for a few seconds before the tree trunk exploded in splinters and went backwards. As he threw a water balloon at Naruto, Jiraiya thought, he already is making a counterpart to the Rasengan. Jiraiya instructed him to make it explode with your chakra. Naruto picked one up and caused the balloon to spike in various directions before detonating. "So, I essentially rotate my chakra until it blows up." As he crossed his fingers and bit the balloon gently, Naruto questioned, "Shadow clone jutsu." As 20 clones materialized, he muttered around the balloon, "You know what to do." Jiraiya watched as all of the clones tried to blow up the balloon. "Remember, take your time. This took the 4th Hokage 4 years of development and 3 years to make it. It took me 3 years to make it." Jiraiya smirked and said, "Naruto will get this jutsu in no time." As the clones caused the balloon to slightly spike before rounding again, Naruto grinned and remarked, "Maybe that is because you were peeping on people." Jiraiya said, "Well, I will be going," and turned to leave. 1 week later he sputtered and scowled at Naruto as he entered Jiraiya's room, held the balloon over his sleeping form, and began to spin the water inside until it burst, soaking Jiraiya. "What were you doing?" Jiraiya insisted. The smirking Naruto said, "I popped it." As Naruto held another balloon and it quickly burst, Jiraiya yawned and said, "Prove it." He narrowed his eyes and said, "I guess it is time for the second more difficult step." Jiraiya stood up and dressed, saying, "This step you will learn as we walk. I got a hint about Tsunade being in a town 2 days away." Grabbing his pack, Naruto said, "Okay, let's get going." Jiraiya said, grabbing his bag, "Okay, after 2 days." When Jiraiya entered a building and saw men throwing dice, he said, "Naruto, I want you to stay out here." He sat in front of what he assumed to be the headman and said, "Hello, sir." Jiraiya and Naruto had reached yet another border village and were walking toward a remote area of town. "How may I help you?" the man inquired. "I heard you had a gambler in here a little while ago," Jiraiya responded. The man remarked, "We get a lot of those kinds of people." Jiraiya stated, "This is a woman, Tsunade Senju to be exact." The man said, "Yes, the legendary sucker was here." "Are you aware of her location?" Jiraiya inquired. "What about a quick game? Even though I tell you that it's strange, you give me all of your money," the man inquired. As he watched the man toss the dice, Jiraiya said, "Deal." They were stopping on odd when a strong gust of wind blew through the building, causing the dice to flip over to even. Jiraiya sighed in relief, and the man gave him instructions. "Thanks." Jiraiya walked out to see Naruto take out another ball and toss a ball with a hole in it away. "Naruto, we are making our way out again." Jiraiya added, "About a week away." Tsunade was last seen in Tanzaku Castle. As he held his stomach, Naruto thought, "Kyuubi is still weak, okay." 1 week later, gazing up at the hill, Naruto said, "Arrow. Sensei, did you not mention the castle?" Naruto inquired. Jiraiya trailed off, of cower, when he looked up and saw that there was no castle. They both leapt up onto a wall at once and saw people running. "You know what happened here?" Jiraiya called, attracting a man's interest. He began to run again after saying, "A giant snake attack." Both whispered, "Orochimaru." Jiraiya said, "Let's go, Naruto." He leapt down, and Naruto did the same. They arrived at a bar and entered, but Jiraiya stopped at the sight of a blonde, curvaceous woman. "Jiraiya, Tsunade!" The two shouted. Gazing at the woman, who appeared to be in her early 30s, Naruto blinked a few times and said, "Jiraiya, what are you doing here?" As the two approached, Tsunade inquired, "And who is the brat?" Jiraiya said, "This is Naruto Uzumaki. Kyuubi's Jinchuriki." Tsunade and the brunette pondered. "And is it not possible for an old teammate to get together with his old pals?" Jiraiya inquired. Tsunade remarked, "Looks like there are a lot of reunions today." Jiraiya declared, "Sarutobi. Sensei has died." Tsunade, "Hime." Tsunade said simply, "I know." Jiraiya went on, "The council wants you to be Hokage." Jiraiya opened his mouth when Tsunade said, "No, Hokage is a fool's game. After becoming Hokage, everyone dies soon after." She halted when she sensed an unimaginable level of murderous intent aimed at her. "Look at the fourth Hokage, Hideout. Naruto threatened to kill him if he said anything negative about the fourth Hokage. The fourth Hokage is a fool because he died to defend a fool." Tsunade said she opened her mouth to speak again but was stopped as Naruto appeared on the table and lifted her effortlessly off the ground. "You want to fight? Let's take this outside," Tsunade said, hitting his arm to get him to release her. The two left, but Jiraiya stopped them. Jiraiya cautioned, "Don't underestimate this kid and watch out for his stomach." As she left, Tsunade remarked, "He can't possibly be that powerful, I mean he is a genin." As he left and stood beside Shizune, Jiraiya thought, "Someone is going to get hurt." Tsunade stated, "I will only use one finger to make things fair. Don't be cocky." Naruto pulled out a kunai and was about to throw it when Tsunade appeared in front of him and struck upward, knocking off his hood and forehead proctor. Naruto closed his eyes and opened them to see Tsunade's finger ready to flick. She released her finger and threw Naruto back 10 feet before he rolled to his feet. "Damn, she is strong," Naruto thought as he threw a kunai at Tsunade, who flicked it away. Naruto immediately charged low and put his katana on his katana, whipped his katana out, and swung at Tsunade at the same time as he kicked. Tsunade used her finger to stop the katana blade in her foot to deflect his kick. As Jiraiya watched Tsunade cock her arm back and hit Naruto in the stomach, he thought, she wouldn't. No? As the three of them watched Tsunade's fist vanish into Naruto's stomach, Jiraiya screamed. Naruto coughed up blood and fell backwards. What happened? Stuttering, Tsunade said, before tearing Naruto's shirt open to reveal the widened katana stab and kunai stabs. Jiraiya ran over to him and knelt beside him, pleading, "Tsunade, you have to heal him." Whatever became of him? As she began to heal him shakily, Tsunade demanded. As the wounds healed, Jiraiya told her, he fought and won against Minato and Kushina. But it nearly cost him his life, but then he fought against the one-tailed Jinchuriki. How has he survived? Anyone would have died from these wounds, Tsunade inquired. I personally think it was his love for his lover that kept him alive, Jiraiya replied. Tsunade sneered, he is too young to know love. You would think that, but if you saw the look in their eyes when they see each other you can tell it is love, Jiraiya replied. Tsunade stood up a little unsteadily from the sight of all the blood, but she said, well, he will be fine. Jiraiya, why is Kyuubi's chakra so low? Tsunade inquired. She spent most of her chakra fighting Gaara, then spent more keeping Naruto alive while he fought Gaara. Jiraiya stated to her. Why does it feel like a freight train struck me? Naruto muttered. How are you able to stay awake? Tsunade inquired. Naruto gripped his stomach to feel that it was mostly whole and said, I heal fast. He looked down to see 3 tiny cuts. Did Kyuubi wake up? Naruto inquired. Tsunade replied, nope, I healed you. As a tick appeared on her head, Naruto remarked, well, that explains why it isn't completely healed. Are you ridiculing my capacity for healing? Tsunade cried out. Geez. Why did you hit me in the stomach? Naruto asked her, grabbing his katana and driving it into the ground to help him stand. If I was, you would know. Naruto inquired. I would have kicked your little ass after healing you if I had known you were this badly hurt. Tsunade cried out to him. Naruto stretched a little and remarked, well, I am healed now. How about a rematch? If I win, you acknowledge that the fourth Hokage was a good Hokage, Naruto said, adding, and if I lose, you give all my money. How much money do you have? Tsunade inquired as Naruto produced a scroll, wiped blood off it, and a stack of cash emerged. Naruto pocketed the scroll and remarked, I have taken out a lot of missing nins. He also added, I have 10 more scrolls like this. You're on, and I will use one finger again, Tsunade uttered avariciously as Jiraiya moaned. What is it? Shizune murmured. Jiraiya stated, Naruto won 10,000 Ryo on a scratch ticket. Shizune remarked, that isn't all that uncommon. Jiraiya stated dryly, this was a ticket that's max amount won is 5,000. How fortunate is he? Tsunade shook her head and slammed her fist into the ground, while Naruto's Rasengan slammed into the ground and threw himself away. Shizun's eyes widened as they watched Naruto charge Tsunade, hold his arm back, and charge an incomplete Rasengan. What are you teaching him that he will never understand, Jiraiya? As Shizun rushed to Naruto's aid, Tsunade screamed at Jiraiya, who grinned back. What the hell is so funny? She cried out. Jiraiya flawlessly mimicked her voice as Suad's mouth opened and closed. One of the great Sannin lost to a genin. I believe a certain blonde Sannin say, and I will use one finger again. Hey, brat. As Shizun dragged him out of the crack that Tsunade's fist had made, Tsunade called. Naruto thought, damn, she's got some incredible strength. What? Naruto inquired. How about we wager again? If you win, I'll give you this necklace and acknowledge that you'll become Hokage one day, Tsunade said in her question. You can't, Tsunade. Shizun cried out. What makes it so significant? Naruto inquired. In his mind, Jiraiya added, she must have a lot of faith in the boy. That is the Shodai necklace, it is worth 3 gold mines in the mountains on top of them. And anyone not destined to be Hokage dies shortly after wearing it. So, what are your thoughts? She inquired. Naruto responded, sure. You're not interested in finding out what will happen if you lose? Tsunade inquired. Naruto asserted, nope, because I will not lose. Okay. Tsunade was singing. I will give you 1 week to complete the Rasengan, and if you don't make a complete one at the end of the week you will give up on being Hokage and I get all your money, she replied. Naruto said, okay, and turned to leave. Where are you heading? She inquired. As Naruto put it, to train, duh. As the 3 of them watched Naruto leave, Tsunade grinned and took out a frog wallet. Jiraiya warned, Tsunade, I wouldn't do that, but she disregarded him and just saw the fat wallet. When she opened it, a puff of smoke appeared. Then a pie struck her face, slid off her face, and Tsunade tasted some of it. Before cleaning it off, Tsunade said simply, it is good pie. She noticed that the toad was still fat, and she wondered, was it a trap for pickpockets? As she peered into the wallet and was blasted with pink powder, she turned to see Jiraiya laughing and Shizun covering her mouth to stop herself from laughing. Tsunade then let loose on Jiraiya like a furious gorilla, saying, I will get that brat for this. After checking the wallet and finding nothing, Shizun took out a note and read aloud, Tsunade, do not think of getting me back, most of my retaliations is accompanied with property damage. She blinked a few times, thinking, is this boy a genius or an expert prankster? When a boxing glove attached to a spring went flying over her shoulder and she heard a loud thunk, she turned to see Jiraiya on the ground, knocked out. Tsunade was laughing uncontrollably this time, and she noticed another note that read, Arrow. Sensei, don't try to grope Shizun. Chan. After 6 days Tsunade was watching the boy make the Rasengan, and it had been 6 days since Naruto began his training to finish the Rasengan. He was training for 18 hours every day, hardly taking breaks. It didn't take Tsunade long to reach the hotel where the 4 of them were staying, and she laid Naruto in her bed when Shizun entered. He will be out for at least 2 days. Tsunade thought, how can he train so hard and still be alive? As she watched him try to make another Rasengan but ultimately cause himself to pass out from exhaustion. Tsunade approached him and knelt beside him, feeling his forehead and checking his hands, noticing that he had a fever and severe chakra burns on them. What will you do about tomorrow, Tsunade? Sama? Shizun inquired. Tsunade turned to her assistant and said, that is none of your concerns. She said, I don't think Uncle Dan would want the, but was cut off when Tsunade showed up beside her. As Shizun collapsed forward, unconscious, Tsunade said, sorry, Shizun. The morning after, damn, I passed out, Naruto said, opening his eyes blearily to see the ceiling. Shizun. Chan, what are you doing sleeping on the floor? Naruto cried as he hurriedly threw his legs over the side of the bed and attempted to run outside but stumbled over something. Naruto turned to face Shizun, who was moaning on the floor, and hurried over to her side. Naruto inquired. Are you sleeping? Shizun mumbled before her eyes snapped open. Tsunade. How are you awake? She exclaimed, glancing around to see that it was morning. Shizun inquired. Naruto informed her, even without Kyuubi, my chakra replenishes at an amazing rate. So what happened? Naruto inquired. She informed him, I have to stop her. Tsunade. Sama is going to go meet with Orochimaru. When Shizun started to object, Naruto snarled, I am coming. He made me kill my mother. Shizun stared out the window as a kunai whizzed past her head, noticing Jiraiya leaning against the wall. Holy crap, Arrow. Sensei, you almost killed her. Jiraiya said feebly, I would have killed her if I had wanted to, and I am also out of whack because Tsunade drugged me. As she took out some pills, Shizune thought dryly, you almost killed me. Here, take these. They will help with the chakra control problem. He gave her a doubtful look. Why would I poison a man who was already poisoned? She asked as he continued to look at her skeptically. Geez, fine. As she pushed the palms into his hand, she yelled in frustration, see fine. Now swallow the pills. She said, popping a pill into her mouth and swallowing it. Jiraiya swallowed the pills after popping them into his mouth. Where is she? Jiraiya insisted. Shizune said, you will have to follow me. As the three leapt out the window, Jiraiya said, fine. Kabuto is here, Naruto thought as he looked around and sniffed the air. What's the hold? Up, Naruto? Jiraiya inquired. Naruto looked around and said, I smell something. He then sniffed the air and said, you two go on ahead. Jiraiya declared, I don't smell anything. I smell his little toy. Naruto said, drawing his katana, because of the Kyuubi my sense of smell is as strong as a kitsune's. Before Shizune and Naruto leapt away, Jiraiya said, be careful Naruto. Naruto sniffed once more and thought, where could he be hiding? When he noticed movement, he immediately began to jump in its direction. So you could sense me, Naruto-kun? Kabuto inquired. Calmly, Naruto remarked, it is difficult to miss when you reek of death and snake summons. Now what shall we do? As the two began to circle, he added. Kabuto jumped away with Naruto chasing after him after saying, well, Naruto-kun, I have an appointment. As Naruto noticed Kabuto closing the gap between them, he thought, my speed is still not at its maximum. With Orochimaru and Tsunade with green glowing hands, Tsunade approached Orochimaru and said, I get my brother and lover back if I do this, right? Tsunade inquired. When a kunai almost struck Tsunade and Kabuto fell behind him, Orochimaru remarked, of course Tsunade. Chan. Kabuto, if you wanted to kill me you will need to do better. I guess I would. Kabuto replied, but I just saved you Orochimaru. Sama, she had enough chakra to kill you. Don't you want to see Dan and Nawaki once more, my dear Tsunade? Chan? Orochimaru inquired. As she removed her coat, Tsunade said plainly, they wouldn't want to see me like this. Kabuto informed Orochimaru, we have to get going, Orochimaru, Naruto-kun was right behind me. I guess I will just have to force you to heal my arms Tsunade. Chan. Orochimaru replied. Tsunade slammed her fist against the wall behind her, causing it to explode, and said, I would rather die. She also added, and I will take you with me. She flew at the two, and they leapt away. Alongside Shizune and Jiraiya Naruto leapt alongside the two as they leapt on the roofs toward the meeting spot. Have you located that individual? Jiraiya inquired. Naruto informed him, yeah but he got away, my speed isn't at its max right now. Alright, did you identify the person? Jiraiya inquired. As they leapt and discovered a demolished wall, Naruto remarked, a boy named Kabuto, he was a Konoha shinobi but he is Orochimaru's right-hand man, or at least I think that. Shizune declared, this is Tsunade. Sama's work. As he picked it up, Naruto remarked, this is her jacket. She is fighting them. We have to help her, he continued. As they turned to face a wall and saw Kabuto fighting Tsunade, Jiraiya said, I know. Looks like Tsunade is winning against Kabuto. Jiraiya said, seeing Kabuto stab his own hand and blood splatter all over Tsunade. Shit, Kabuto just stabbed his hand. Jiraiya said, seeing Tsunade fall to her knees. I will fight Orochimaru. Shizune you fight Kabuto and Naruto you protect Tsunade at all costs. Am I clear? Jiraiya asked, leaving no room for debate. He leapt towards Orochimaru and tackled him as Shizune attacked Kabuto. As he wiped some blood from her face, Naruto said, come on Tsunade. Chan you have to snap out of it. He heard Shizune scream in agony and turned to see Kabuto standing over her, holding her leg. The mindscape of Naruto a pulse could be felt as Kyuubi slept against a tree, beginning to stir inside Naruto's head, before her eyes abruptly opened. Actual world inside, Naruto sensed a pulse. What is happening? He asked himself before a surge of chakra swept through his body. Welcome back, Kyuubi, he thought as he felt his wounds begin to heal. Kyuubi questioned, what have I missed, Naruto-kun? Naruto smirked and pulled out his katana, saying, search my memories. Well Kabuto looks like we are even again. Kabuto said, hey Naruto-kun we were never equal. As he maintained his defensive stance in front of Tsunade, Naruto remarked emphatically, you are right. If you think that provoking me will make me leave Tsunade's side you are sadly mistaken. My Naruto-kun I would never try to provoke you, Kabuto replied, but I guess that won't matter when we destroy Konoha. Naruto assured him, I would never let you destroy Konoha. As Kabuto charged at Naruto, he said, well, you are going to die today. Naruto stabbed Kabuto through the forearm between the bones, twisted the katana violently, and heard a loud snapping noise. Hey, that was a brilliant idea, Naruto-kun. Kabuto said, leaping away and demonstrating how quickly his forearm was healing. As he prepared his katana once more, Naruto thought, he heals almost as fast as me. He avoided a blow that was aimed at his head and slashed upward, leaving a long cut. Kabuto then knocked out a kunai. Naruto dodged and made an incomplete Rasengan and tried to hit Kabuto, who sidestepped and tapped Naruto's leg, making a loud snapping sound. Shit, I have to keep him still. Kyuubi suggested, Naruto-kun, you should compact the Rasengan just a little more. As Kabuto closed in on him, Naruto sheathed his katana, caught Kabuto's fist, and winced as the kunai in Kabuto's hand sliced the flesh between his fingers. Okay, compact it a little more, Naruto thought, focusing on the Rasengan, feeling it stabilize in his hand as Kabuto made a valiant attempt to flee. I don't think so, Naruto said, cocking his arm back. Rasengan, Naruto screamed as he slammed the ball of chakra into Kabuto's stomach. After holding onto Kabuto while a sphere of chakra encircled him and he released his grip, sending Kabuto flying backwards, Naruto fell to one knee as he felt his heart slowing down. Naruto turned to see Kabuto crash into a boulder with a comforting thud and slid to the ground. I can't heal it. Naruto-kun severed the chakra lines to your heart and destroyed most of the muscles, Kyuubi remarked. Naruto laughed, thinking, hey, this will be interesting to see if I live. Blood began to trickle down his chin, and he was startled to see Kabuto standing up. When his eyes widened and he fell onto his stomach, Kabuto thought, there is too much damage. He saw Naruto begin to sway and said, hey, you must have figured that you were nearly dead. Hey, Naruto-kun, that would have killed me if I didn't send my chakra to the point of impact and started to heal myself. Naruto pondered, who would have guessed that I would have passed away in this manner? Naruto could hear the fear in her voice as she said, Naruto-kun, it's getting dark, so dark. When he noticed Tsunade hovering over him, Naruto spat blood. I guess I won our bet, Tsunade. Chan. Naruto said, feeling his lungs fill with blood, causing him to cough up blood. But, you can keep the necklace. Naruto grinned up at her. No, Naruto, you cannot pass away. Tsunade cried out as she used her chakra to cut his shirt and swiftly wiped her hand over his heart in an effort to repair the chakra pathways. Please, not another one. Tsunade said as she sensed his heartbeat becoming slower. The mindscape of Naruto. Who would have thought this is how I would die? Kyuubi thought as the light began to fade closer to her, but then she heard drips as the light began to increase again. Kyuubi was standing in the small light that was in Naruto's mindscape. Actual world with her hands pressed against Naruto's chest, Tsunade was sobbing over his body as his heart began to slowly stop. Please don't take another one from me. Tsunade felt red chakra suddenly surge in Naruto and his back arch. Naruto. As she felt a hand encircle the necklace around her neck, she exclaimed, feeling his heart rate rise once more. Naruto smiled weakly and said, I guess this is mine. Naruto-kun. You will undoubtedly interfere with my plans. Orochimaru spit out his sword at Naruto, who was too weak to move, and it pierced her chest. My Tsunade. Chan, that was intended for you, Orochimaru said, ripping the sword from her chest and kicking her away. Now to finish you off. Orochimaru slashed at Naruto, who used his katana to weakly deflect his sword. I am amazed you can still move. Orochimaru said, noticing that Naruto was immobile. As the sword moved toward him once more, Naruto thought, move, 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 move. He closed his eyes, but felt no pain, and when he opened them, he saw Tsunade standing over him once more. Tsunade said humbly, I will not allow you to murder this boy. As he slashed at her back in an attempt to get her to move, Orochimaru said, now Tsunade. Chan, I don't want to kill you. Tsunade kicked out at him feebly, and he saw her stop shaking. Tsunade. Chan, how will you beat me if you are shaking so much? He asked. Tsunade declared, as the Godem Hokage, I will not allow you to destroy Konoha, and I will protect this boy. Before delivering a quick, powerful blow to Orochimaru's chest, Tsunade yelled. Orochimaru declared, then I will kill you. A seal appeared on Tsunade's face as she made a hand gesture. You can't do that, Tsunade. After she had healed her leg, Shizune shouted, let me heal you, she cried out. Tsunade began to use hand signals, saying, creation rebirth. Tsunade exclaimed as the seal broke and chakra started to flow through her and healed her severe wounds. I cannot be killed like this, Tsunade said as she started to go through hand signs. Summon. 3 enormous forms, a toad, a slug, and a snake, were standing in the field when she and her teammates simultaneously yelled. Gamabunta told the slug, "It has been a while, Katsuya." Katsuya concurred, saying, "It has been a while, Gamabunta.kun." Referring to the snake, Gamabunta remarked, "I suppose I could use a snakeskin wallet, but I could have gone a lot longer without seeing him again." Gamabunta became enraged when the snake said, "Hey, I guess I will be having frog legs for dinner." Tsunade whispered, "Katsuya. Chan, take Naruto to Shizune." As Katsuya's enormous head nodded, a fragment of her emerged beneath Naruto in the shape of a tiny slug, which slithered off of Katsuya's head and fell to the ground, slamming against it with a thud. Katsuya then slithered in the direction of Shizune. Katsuya told Shizune, "Lady Tsunade wanted me to take Naruto.kun to you. Try to heal him if you can. I can tell he has a lot of damage done to him. Can you repair his minor injuries, Katsukiya Sama?" Shizune inquired. As Naruto's leg fused with her body, Katsuya said, "I will try to heal his leg, but then I will have to go back to the main body." She also told Shizune, "I felt that Naruto-kun's chest is damaged too. Kyubi is trying to heal it, but she can't get most of her chakra to his chest." Shizune ran her green glowing hands over his chest and said, "Okay, Katsuya Sama." As she healed Naruto's leg, Katsuya suggested, "Heal the chakra lines first." Shizune nodded and concentrated on the chakra lines. "I have to go, Shizune Chan." Katsuya uttered those words as Naruto's leg broke away from her. Shizune watched the battle between the 3 summons and their summoners, and she felt Naruto begin to stir. "Okay, Katsuya Sama," Shizune said as the small Katsuya made her way to the main body. "Are you awake, Naruto.kun?" she inquired. As for Shizune.ne, "Chan, what happened?" Naruto inquired. "Well, you somehow convinced Tsunade Sama to become the Godem Hokage," Shizune replied, "and you almost died." Naruto muttered, "Hinata Hime is going to kill me." "Hinata Hime?" Shizune inquired. Naruto said, "My girlfriend, I told her I was going to take it easy." As Naruto gazed at her, Shizune remarked, "Well, you are okay now, I am sure she won't know." Naruto remarked, "She has the Byakugan." When they heard a loud thud and the ground shook, Shizune grinned and said, "You screwed." They turned to see Manda holding Gamabunta's sword in his mouth, Tsunade standing on the sword's hilt, holding Orochimaru's tongue in her hands, and she gave a giant tug, sending Orochimaru flying in her direction. She cocked a chakra enhanced fist back, and when he was within range, she threw her punch, hitting him in the jaw with a satisfying crunch. As Tsunade felt her chakra ebbing, she thought, "I have to keep this up." She kept punching him, finishing with a kick that sent Orochimaru a short distance away, and they watched as Orochimaru began to stand. As he leapt to Kabuto and the two sank into the ground, Orochimaru thought, "I won't be able to beat them." As Tsunade fell to the ground, Katsuya and Gamabunta puffed away. Shizune helped Naruto get to his feet, and the two approached Tsunade and Jiraiya. As they approached, they noticed that Tsunade was aging quickly. "Are you going to be okay?" Gazing at his teammate, Jiraiya posed the question. As she turned to see Shizune assisting Naruto in getting to them, Tsunade responded, "I just need something to eat and a night's rest and I will be fine." "How are you, Naruto?" Tsunade inquired. When Tsunade gave him a gentle tap on the head, Naruto's smirk was cut short. "I have been better and worse." It was Tsunade who said, "Don't joke, you almost died." The eyes of Tsunade widened as Naruto remarked, "Well, I did make a complete Rasengan." As she untied the necklace and fastened it around his neck, Tsunade thought, "I guess I will have to watch him closely so the curse doesn't take him. Come on everyone, let's go get some rest." As Tsunade rounded on him, Naruto muttered, "Ya, you look like you needed Chan." "What was that?" Tsunade posed a menacing question. Naruto saluted her and said, "Nothing, Hokage Sama." As Naruto opened his mouth, Tsunade remarked, "That's what I thought, and don't call me Hokage Sama, it makes me feel old. Chan is worse. Like you do for Shizune, can't you call me Tsunade.ne Chan?" Tsunade inquired. Naruto answered, "Not going to happen." "How about I come up with something?" Naruto inquired. Tsunade murmured, "Fine." As Tsunade made a feeble attempt to strike him, Naruto grinned and said, "In the meantime, I will call you Chan. Consider Tsunade Sama." Naruto shook his head in response to Tsunade's suggestion. Tsunade-chan? As the four of them made their way to the hotel where they were staying, Naruto said, "Nope. Until I think of something you will be Ba-chan." As she watched Naruto wince, Tsunade remarked, "Okay, then until you come up with something new, I will call you Naru-chan." Ba-chan. Naruto cried out indignantly. As Naruto let out a defeated sigh and trailed the three adults to the hotel rooms, Tsunade grinned and said, "Come on Naru-chan. After 2 days. You truly believe that your mastery of the Rasengan will allow you to defeat me, Naru-chan?" Tsunade smirked as she asked. When his forehead protector flew off his head, Naruto was in front of Tsunade. He closed his eyes, expecting a flick to the forehead, but he felt nothing. Naruto opened his eyes just as Tsunade's lips touched his forehead. "No, I think I will do better because now that Kyuubi-chan is awake my chakra is a lot higher," Naruto said as he charged at Tsunade. She informed the boy, "That is a special charm. You can guess who it was. Why can't she kiss me?" Tsunade called to the stunned boy, "Come on Naru-chan." Naruto blushed and turned his head away from the older woman, who giggled a little. To the relief of the villagers, Naruto, Shizune, Tsunade, and Jiraiya had only been out of Tanzaku Castle for a few days. At the moment, they were at a hot spring where men, women, and mixed bathers were present. Naruto went to the male side, Tsunade and Shizune went to the female side, and Jiraiya, you guessed it, went to the mixed bathing. Tsunade and Shizune were on the other side of Naruto, who was facing away from the wall. Tsunade repeated, "Have you thought of something?" Every 15 waking minutes, she has been inquiring. "No, and the more you ask me the less time I have to think." Naruto told the truth. He had come up with a name for her. According to Tsunade, "Fine Naru-chan." Shizune remarked, "You two act like you have known each other your entire lives." Jiraiya yelled, "This is not the kind of women I wanted," to their ears. Naruto said, "Want to see?" Together, Shizune and Tsunade said, "You bet." When they reached the third wall, Chakra climbed it and turned to see Jiraiya and several primates in a pool. Naruto's laughter caused him to lose focus and collapse back onto his back. Shizune lost her focus and fell into the water, following Naruto's reaction. Tsunade grinned and said, "Oh my, I didn't know he was into this kind of thing." Naruto laughed and said, "I can't breathe." As Tsunade put it, "Well, I am going to the casino." Holding back his laughter, Naruto called out, "I want to come too." The three left Jiraiya waiting in the mixed bathing after she called, "Okay." After drying off, Shizune and Tsunade went outside to await Naruto. He emerged quickly, wearing only a towel around his waist. As Tsunade cocked her head to the side and Shizune gazed, Naruto remarked, "Someone took my robe." How are those muscles possible for a 13-year-old boy? Together, Tsunade and Shizune pondered. Tsunade said, "Come on Naru-chan, let's go get you a new robe. How about I don't call you Ba-chan in public and you can't call me Naru-chan in public?" Compromised Naruto. "Come on, I am the Black Death of Konoha and being called Naru-chan kinda takes away the fear I hold." Tsunade said, "Fine." Naruto said, "Okay Tsunade." Jiraiya shouted, "Why does she get respected like that?" Tsunade and Shizune nodded as they made their way to the front desk, and Naruto remarked, "It is amazing how good his hearing is." Tsunade said, "Hello?" to get the 16-year-old girl's attention. As she glanced at Naruto, she trailed off. Yes, in a mischievous manner, she asked Naruto, "What can I do for you?" Simply put, Naruto said, "I need a robe." Tsunade wondered, does he really not see that she wants to get into his pants, or towel? The girl ventured, "You will have to trade your towel for it." With a shrug, Naruto revealed that he was wearing boxers by removing his towel. Naruto handed the towel to the girl, who moaned and handed the robe. They heard smoke and a puff emerge from his robes. "What was that?" inquired Tsunade. Naruto grinned and remarked, "A shadow clone hanged into a pair of boxers." Tsunade put an arm around his shoulder and remarked, "Now that is smart." As she led him away with Tsunade by his side, she said, "Now I am going to show you how to gamble. This place has a casino that doesn't have a gambling age." Naruto whispered to Shizune, "Should I be worried that she knows about the casino? With her the only time you need to worry is if she gets a winning streak." Shizune responded, she went on, "If she wins big then we are in trouble." Naruto said, Okay," as they entered a casino. Tsunade grabbed Naruto's hand and pulled him away, saying, "Okay Naruto-kun, follow me." He was seated next to her by her. As Naruto nodded, bit his thumb, and lifted the sleeve of his robe to reveal a storage seal. She said, "Okay Naruto-kun. This game is called Blackjack. The point of the game is to get 20.1, 10, Jack, Queen, and King are worth 10, Aces are 11. When he rubbed his blood across the seal, a scroll opened, and when Naruto touched it with his thumb, a stack of cash materialized. Tsunade received a fourth of it from Naruto. The cards were dealt after Naruto put some cash on the table. One king was given to Naruto. According to Tsunade, now stay Naruto. As he divided the kings and the dealer dealt out the remaining two, Naruto remarked, "Actually I would like to split." After saying, "Split again," and separating the kings once more, Naruto was dealt 4 aces. The dealers, Shizune's, and Tsunade's mouths fell open. When Naruto said, "Hey, I win," Tsunade trailed off. What luck! Naruto received his winning chips from the dealer. Naruto replaced the scroll in his arm and sealed the remaining cash. "So shall we go again?" Naruto asked, placing cash in 4 different locations. Naruto received all queens and kings when the dealer dealt the cards. As the dealer dealt out 4 aces and 4 jacks, Naruto declared, "I will split them all." As the dealer threw out 4 tens, Naruto grinned and said, "I will split these." How is he so fortunate? As she watched the dealer reach the age of 18, Tsunade pondered. The dealer handed Naruto a large stack of chips and declared, "You win." As he went to deposit the money, Naruto remarked, "Hey, I guess I am on a roll." The dealer said, "Sir, I think you should give someone else a chance to win." Naruto gave a shrug. Tsunade followed Naruto as he collected his chips and headed to a poker table, saying, "I guess I will go play poker." 4 other people were seated around Naruto at the table. As Naruto inserted a 1,000 Ryo chip into the ante, Tsunade was watching over his shoulder. A large man questioned, "Are you sure you want to place us, little boy?" Naruto glanced at his cards and said, "Yup. How on earth is this possible?" Tsunade thought while maintaining her composure. A man threw 10,000 Ryo in front of Naruto. Naruto added the same quantity. One of the slender men said, "How many would you like, boy?" "None." Naruto calmly responded, displaying no emotion at all. When the cubby man put 2 cards down and the skinny man dealt them, the man grinned and said, "Fine." 30,000 Ryo were thrown down by him. 60,000 Ryo were thrown down by Naruto. As the cubby man tossed in the 30,000 Ryo, Naruto calmly remarked, "I raise you by 30,000 Ryo." The cubby man put 4 nines on the table and said, "You should learn how to play, boy." He started to grab the chips. Naruto threw down his cards to reveal a royal straight flush and remarked, I only have this." As he reached for the cash, Naruto remarked, "I do believe I won." The cubby man took out a knife and said, "You cheated." A fragment of the man's coat fell off to reveal a device, and Naruto said, "No you are." As he reached for his chips, Naruto remarked, "You 4 are cheating and stacking the deck so any of you will win but the new person. But you could say I have a demon's luck." In the back of his mind, he heard Kyuubi growl. "I'm kidding," Naruto declared. Tsunade was informed by Naruto, "I am cashing out now." Tsunade remarked, "Naruto-kun, you have some amazing luck." "I know, but I don't want to clean out the entire casino and run out of luck," Naruto replied simply. Shizune said, "See Naruto-kun knows when to leave." "Ya well Naruto just won what like 200,000 Ryo?" Tsunade responded. Naruto uttered, "Give or take. But he could have easily cleaned that place out but he didn't," said Shizune. Naruto inquired, "How do you think Jiraiya is doing?" I don't know, I hope he didn't stay in the hot spring," Tsunade replied. Alongside Jiraiya with apes, primates, heavy-set women, and older women all around him, Jiraiya was flushed. As one of the primates ate bugs out of Jiraiya's hair, he thought sorrowfully, "This is not what I wanted." Returning to Naruto, Naruto said, "How about we get something to eat?" Tsunade questioned, "You treating?" Naruto questioned, "When haven't I treated?" Dryly, Naruto remarked, "I think I paid for every meal that you and Jiraiya have ate." Tsunade inquired, "What about Shizune?" As Tsunade smiled, Naruto remarked dryly, "She offered to pay her own bill, but I thought, hey, I am already spending a fortune on basically sake. Why not add a little more money? New rule Hokage. Sama, you get 1 bottle of sake and that is it," Naruto stated to her. The pout from Tsunade said, "That isn't nice." Naruto said to her, "I am tired of paying for your sake." Naruto said to Tsunade, "Do you know what? I'll pay for the food, and you'll pay for the drinks." As the 3 entered a restaurant, Tsunade remarked, "So 1 bottle of sake?" Naruto nodded. Naruto nodded as the waitress asked, For 3? The 3 of them sat down at a table after she guided them there. She looked at Naruto for a long moment before saying, I will come back and get your drinks. Shizune smirked and remarked, Naruto-kun, you sure are a ladies' man. Her smirk was returned by Naruto, who said, I guess I am. Tsunade thought negatively and grinned, saying, but Hinata. Hime can get a bit protective over me. Shizune said, she just knows how handsome you are Naruto-kun. Naruto said, thanks Shizune. Chan. The waitress caught their attention by asking, so what can I get you 3? Naruto scowled at Tsunade as she said, I will have your biggest and most expansive bottle of sake. Shizune declared, I will have some green tea. The woman nodded and Naruto said, please, a jasmine tea. The woman said, okay, I will be right back. Naruto addressed Tsunade, saying, I hate you. When the waitress returned with a huge bottle of sake, Tsunade exclaimed, I love you too. She trailed off, drooling down her chin, as that, behind her. The waitress set the bottle and sake cup in front of Tsunade and said, okay, the demon sake for you. In front of Shizune, she placed a cup and said, green tea for you. She put the cup in front of him and said, and jasmine tea for you. As Tsunade carefully brought a cup of sake to her lips and tasted it, Naruto said, thank you. She appeared to be in heaven right away. Naruto simply shrugged when Shizune whispered, is it that good? But immediately grinned. Naruto called out to her, hey Tsunade? To get her attention? Yeah. She inquired. How about when we get to the hotel room we have a little drinking contest and whoever loses has to buy the next meal? Replied Naruto. Deal, she cried out. He has no chance, she thought, focusing all of her attention on her own benefit. Naruto-kun, she has been drinking sake for almost her entire life. Shizune replied. The sardonic Naruto remarked, she doesn't have QB in her. She doesn't allow me to get drunk. Something about it being a bitch healing a hangover. Naruto continued. Naruto nodded as Shizune questioned, so you just conned Tsunade Sama into buying the next meal? That is mean Naruto-kun. Naruto pointed to the sake she was sipping and remarked, just call it revenge for ordering that monstrosity. Shizune sipped her tea and said, I guess so. The waitress returned. She said, what can I get you 3? Shizune declared, I will have the barbecue ribs, miso soup. As the waitress turned to face Tsunade, who was too preoccupied with drinking her sake, Naruto said, I will have the same. With a growl, Naruto snatched the cup and bottle away from her. She gave him a death glare. Naruto said, order your food. As Tsunade appeared to be on the verge of passing away, Naruto threatened, I am paying for this and I will have her take it back. Tsunade declared, I will have whatever they're having. Now gimme it back, she yelled, snatching up the cup and bottle. As Shizune and the waitress laughed, Naruto said, and people think I am the kid. The waitress left after Naruto gave her the menus. Tsunade moaned, sake. Shizune and Naruto gazed at Tsunade. Did she sound like she was having? Shizune stared at Naruto as he said, I think so. Shizune inquired, and how would you know what it sounds like? Naruto became reticent. Shizune gave him a critical look as Naruto stated honestly, I mean I have never done it. The food was brought over by the waitress. As the waitress set the food in front of them, Shizune said, this isn't over Naruto. Murmuring, Naruto said, geez fine. Naruto took the bottle away and said, Tsunade, it's time to eat. She said, hey I was drinking that. Naruto cried out, damn it is already half empty. We have been here for 20 minutes. She yelled at him, so what that stuff is so good, as she reached for the bottle, but Naruto pushed it out of her grasp. Naruto informed her, it is time to eat. Tsunade explained, it is time to drink. Eat. Drink. Eat. Drink. Shizune yelled, guys. To get their attention. She chastised him, saying, you are drawing attention to us. Together, the two chimed, sorry, she said, now eat. The two repeated, okay, and began to eat. As she gave him the puppy dog eyes, Tsunade said, Naruto-kun, may I please have some sake? Naruto poured sake into her cup and said, fine. The bottle was set in front of her by Naruto. You stop eating that food and drink just sake, I will take the bottle away, said Naruto. Tsunade said, okay. She took a bite of food and asked, so what were you two talking about before the food came? Nothing, hurried Naruto. As Naruto's head slammed into the table beside his plate, Shizune said, I think Naruto-kun came close to having sex. Tsunade teasingly said, oh ho he starts early. Naruto felt ashamed. Embarrassed, Naruto muttered, I didn't have sex. As they were eating, Tsunade thought, I will have to have someone give him the talk. As Naruto drank and nearly choked, Tsunade inquired, so did it feel good? Naruto observed Tsunade sipping her sake. Naruto remarked, actually it felt amazing. Tsunade coughed and spat out her drink. Shizune and Naruto chuckled at her face. As Tsunade put it, touche Naruto. Naruto joked, I am not known as the Hokage of pranks for nothing. Wiping her mouth, Tsunade said, I bet. Naruto's mouth fell open as Tsunade remarked, you know that little stunt of yours cost you about 200 ryo. Shizune trailed off, wow, after finishing her meal. The waitress approached. She put it on the table and said, I have you check. Naruto's eyes widened as he picked up the check. Naruto shouted, that bottle cost 20,000 ryo. Oh ho, this is the last time I am letting pick the sake. For the next 3 weeks that we are out of Konoha you are getting the cheapest sake the places have. Naruto stated to her. She smiled and nodded as he said, I hope that bottle was worth it. As Naruto scowled at her and set the cash down on the table, Tsunade remarked, very, that was the best sake I ever had. Naruto declared, I hate you right now. She held up the still, full bottle of sake and said, oh, I love you so much for buying that sake for me. Grabbing him, she pressed his head against her breasts. After some struggle, she finally let Naruto go. Naruto uttered the words, I still hate you. You know people would kill to be hugged like that by me. Tsunade replied. Naruto said as he turned to leave, well, I am not one of them. Tsunade remarked, oh come on Naruto, you can't be that mad. You just made me spend 20,000 ryo on one bottle of sake, you are lucky I am even talking to you. Naruto stated to her. Shizune placed a hand on Tsunade's shoulder as she opened her mouth. Mouthing, Shizune said, not now. What about our drinking contest? Tsunade inquired. Shizune informed her that, you would have lost. Kyuubi doesn't allow him to get drunk. As they made their way to their hotel room, Tsunade questioned, so he conned me? Shizune nodded. Naruto had yet to speak to her. In fact, Tsunade was feeling a little depressed. Shizune comforted her, saying, I am sure Naruto-kun will talk to you in no time. After 4 days Tsunade was starting to feel terrible because Naruto hadn't even made an effort to talk to her in those days. He spoke to Shizune, but not to her, as she observed. Tsunade asked, Naruto? To get Naruto's attention, I am sorry for taking advantage of you buying dinner. Please talk to me again, she begged. Naruto questioned, now was that so hard? Tsunade questioned, huh? Shizune informed her, Naruto-kun was waiting for you to apologize for that incident. Tsunade demanded, brat, do you realize how much guilt you made me feel? Tsunade. Sama, you had to learn what you did was wrong, Shizune replied. Jiraiya questioned, why does he get an apology? He yelled, you guys left me in that hot spring for 6 hours. Tsunade remarked, you could have gotten out at any time, according to Tsunade, so I am forgiven? Naruto replied, yeah you are. Tsunade then gave him a tight hug near her breasts. She commanded, don't ever stop talking to me again. She went on, that is an order from the Hokage. Naruto grinned and said, okay. Jiraiya questioned, why can't I get hugs like that? Tsunade stated dryly, that is because you would try to feel me up. 1 week later by now, Konoha was just a week away. They had paused at a celebration. He blushed as Shizune and Tsunade put their arms around him. Naruto said, what are you two doing? With embarrassment. Tsunade thought, we have to keep the fangirls away. I see how they look at you and if we stay on your arms they can't get to you. Naruto added on her behalf, I also can't have any fun. Tsunade. You can always keep the women off of me, Jiraiya replied. Jiraiya's hopes were dashed when Tsunade remarked sardonically, believe me you old perv you don't have that problem. Shizune added, essentially kicking him in the stomach while he was on the ground, plus Naruto-kun is a lot cuter. As the three left the sobbing Jiraiya, Naruto remarked, well ladies, I need to get more gifts for Hinata. And my little brother and his friends. Tsunade remarked, he sure is a baby. According to Shizune, I know. Shizune said, now what do you want to do Naruto-kun? Well I need to get accessories for Hinata. Hime's kimono I got for her, Naruto replied. Shizune asked, can I see the kimono? Naruto nodded, reached into his cloak, and, without Shizune letting go, took out a scroll and opened the kimono's seal. When she held it out, she gasped. Whispering, Shizune said, this is so beautiful. Tsunade remarked, yes, it is Naruto-kun, you sure do have some taste. Naruto remarked, Well, I try my best for my Tenchi, Hime. Tsunade questioned, I have heard you call Hinata that before, why? She has the ability to grow 2 indigo bird wings out of her back, making her look like an angel. Tsunade was told by Naruto. Tsunade felt the silk and said, oh, she said, oh, can you buy me one of these? Me too, inquired Shizune. According to Naruto, sure, why not? But that is if we pass through that village. As Tsunade explained, the one where you got attacked by Itachi Uchiha. Tsunade nodded, and Naruto said, you are going to make arrow. Sensei go that way, aren't you? Naruto let out a sigh. Tsunade grinned as Naruto said, fine. But you will owe me a lot of ramen for this. Tsunade concurred, saying, okay, I mean how much ramen can you eat? Naruto smirked at Tsunade and remarked, let's just say the ramen stand in Konoha made almost all of their money on me alone. Naruto declared, I can eat 20 to 30 bowls. Tsunade questioned in amazement, a week? Naruto's mouth fell open and he corrected her, saying, a meal. Yes, I know it isn't healthy, but I didn't know how to cook until I started hanging out with Hinata. Hime. Naruto informed them. As Naruto nodded at her, Tsunade remarked, I'm going to assume that because of the QB in you, you couldn't go into most places. Which places let you eat at their restaurants? She growled as Naruto said, Ichiraku Ramen, and the Akamichi place. Shizune said, that is horrible. Naruto informed her, I know, but they were scared of me. Naruto informed them, I wasn't liked much when I was younger. Well, you shouldn't care about the people who don't care about you. Tsunade replied. She advised him, only take care of the few who are really your friends. Naruto grinned and added, or family. According to Tsunade, yes or that. As the 2 girls pulled Naruto away, Tsunade remarked, well, let's go get some things for this girl. As they pulled him to store after store, Naruto thought, I feel like this will have a big effect on my savings. After 4 days, the 4 of them arrived in the town where Naruto battled Kisame and Itachi. Naruto entered the shop where he had purchased Hinata's kimono. 3 girls were chatting in front of the counter while the same girl was behind it. The girl behind the counter exclaimed, oh Naruto-kun. She was glad to see Naruto. She was immediately struck by Shizune and Tsunade's proximity to Naruto. The girl said, who are these women? As Tsunade's mouth fell open, Naruto said, this is Tsunade.ka.san and Shizune.ne. Does he consider me to be his mother? Tsunade pondered as a sensation of warmth spread across her chest. Without hesitation, she thrust his head into the valley she refers to as her breasts. Naruto's exclamation, "Ah, stop, I can't breathe," caused the girls to chuckle. Tsunade said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Naruto-kun." Naruto cleared his throat, straightened his cloak and hair. "I need to get kimonos for these two, that are made out of the previous kimono I asked you to make," Naruto stated to the child. She said, "Okay Naruto-kun." As she led Shizune and Tsunade to the rear of the store, the girl said, "Can you two please come with me so I can get your measurements?" The three girls surrounded Naruto as soon as Shizune and Tsunade left. All three of them asked at once, "Will you go out with me?" The three girls gaped at Naruto as he said, "Sorry, I have a girlfriend." As they all moaned, Naruto continued, "And I am very faithful to her." Shizune and Tsunade left. As Naruto nodded, Tsunade remarked, "She said the kimonos will be done in 2 days." As the three departed, Naruto said, "Okay. Jiraiya was still crying from 4 days prior. You are a crybaby." Jiraiya sarcastically remarked, "Well, excuse me for not having 2 stunning women on both of my arms." Naruto smirked as the three left the sobbing Jiraiya, saying, "Hey, what can I say? You have it when you have it." "I wonder if I will attract women if I henge into Naruto," Jiraiya pondered. Naruto's yell, "If I find out you hang into me I will kick your ass arrow, Sensei," crushed Jiraiya's last hope. After 3 days, Konoha was 15 minutes away for the 4 of them. Tsunade somehow altered her age to that of her 14-year-old self. Naruto didn't know why. That is, until Tsunade grabbed hold of his arm and wouldn't let go when they were 10 minutes away. Naruto cried out, "What are you doing?" When they noticed a shadow circling them, Tsunade remarked, "But Naruto-kun, I am not doing anything." As Tsunade grinned naively, Naruto glared and said, "You did this on purpose." With her hands on her hips, Hinata abruptly landed in front of them. As Naruto fought against her hold, Tsunade thought, "Wow, Naruto wasn't kidding when he saw she looked like an angel with those wings." Hinata demanded, "Naruto-kun, what is going on?" Her rage was evident in her tone. As he released his arm from Tsunade's hold, Naruto remarked, "Nothing is going on." She repeated her demand, then why did I find you with another woman's arms wrapped around you? Reverting to her 30-year-old self, Tsunade said, do not worry Hinata, I am not after you man. Hinata gave a few blinks. According to Tsunade, I am Tsunade Senju. Tsunade nodded, and she stammered, T.H Hokage. Hinata said, I am sorry for reacting that way. With Hinata giving Naruto a menacing glance, Tsunade remarked, oh do not worry, I am just getting him back for pranking me when we first met. Naruto informed Hinata, what she did tell you was that C took my wallet. She said, ah which one? I believe it is the pie in the face, then powder, then the boxing glove. Naruto stated to her. Hinata questioned, you struck the Hokage with a boxing glove? Jiraiya stared at Naruto as he said, oh no, I have it set up so if Ero Sensei isn't around it won't activate. He yelled, what the hell did I do to you? Hinata's wings returned to her back, and Naruto simply ignored him. Hinata shivered as Naruto whispered into her ear, it is good to see my Ero Tenchi. As Naruto nodded, she inquired, are you healed yet? As the two disappeared in Hinata's red whirlpool Shunshin, Hinata uttered the words, Hokage. Sama. I am stealing Naruto.kun. Tsunade questioned, what do you think she will do to him? Shizune remarked, unsure of the veracity of her response, by that look in her eye I suspect she is ripping his clothes off. After 3 days Hinata and Naruto were not seen for 3 days. Hinata had a noticeable limp and a contented smile when they finally saw her. Many people were curious about what the two had done, but they chose not to inquire. At the moment, the two were making their way to the Hokage Tower. Hinata said to him, Naruto.kun, I didn't want to get up today. Neither did I but I sensed that it is only a matter of time before Tsunade sent Anbu to retrieve us, Naruto replied. Hinata remarked, I know but our bed is so comfy. Hinata blushed slightly, and Naruto smirked and said, Naruto said, last I knew you were still living with Heishi. Father said I could spend as much time with you. Said Hinata. So technically I could move in with you making it our apartment, said Hinata. Completely unfazed, Naruto uttered, I guess you could. The question Hinata posed dryly was, does anything faze you? Naruto said suggestively, well, that outfit you wore 2 days ago fazed me. Kurenai approached them and remarked, it's been a while since I've seen Hinata and Naruto. Both chimed, hello Kurenai. Sensei. Kurenai inquired, what are you two up to? Oh we are just going to be placed back on active duty, Naruto replied. Really, that is good. While you were gone our mission count for C and B ranked caravan missions went down, Kurenai replied. Kurenai blushed slightly and Naruto asked, are you going to go see Asuma, sensei? No, she uttered hastily. Naruto gave the older woman a raised eyebrow. The smirking Naruto said, whatever you say. Hinata said, want to come with us Kurenai? Sensei? As Kurenai's blush deepened, Hinata teased, we were going to go eat after this and I am sure Asuma Sensei would love to go if you went. Desperate to shift the conversation, Kurenai said, well what did you two do? As Hinata flushed, Naruto remarked, well, if it weren't for the sound barrier I put up, everyone would know. Kurenai gave the two a raised eyebrow. What did they do? Kurenai considered this but dismissed her suspicion. When Hinata's hair was blown up by the wind and Kurenai noticed tiny, round bruises on her neck, she blinked and said, well, I suppose I could accompany you to see Tsunade. Sama. Hinata covered the bruises with her hair and remarked, that is great. The trio began to stroll through Konoha in silence. So Naruto.kun what did you do while you were out looking for Tsunade? Sama. Replied Hinata. Naruto took out a scroll and opened a box, saying, well, let's see, first we went to a village just outside of Konoha. Oh that reminds me I need to give you your gift. He handed Hinata the box. As Hinata opened the box and Kurenai's mouth fell open, Naruto thought, perhaps this will prevent her from killing me when I finish this part of the story. Kurenai gazed at the gleaming fabric and remarked, Naruto, that is beautiful. Hinata remained stunned. She inquired, how much did it cost? In response, Naruto said, a small fortune. Before being embraced, Naruto remarked, Tsunade basically forced me to buy her one too. Oh my god I love it Naruto.kun. Hinata joyfully cried. Hinata exclaimed joyfully, now I have something to wear to the festival in a few days. Naruto remarked, oh yeah, I forgot about the festival. As Naruto turned to face her after she had applied the puppy dog eyes jutsu to him, Hinata questioned, you will be taking me right? A mock defeat sigh escaped Naruto's lips. Naruto grinned and said, I can't resist that face. Hinata grinned. Happily, she chirped, I know. Kurenai remarked, "Wow Hinata, you have him trained." Hinata stated, "I wouldn't call it trained." Naruto said, "You know I am right here, right?" As both of them nodded. At the two, Naruto shook his head. "When I want to talk to my friends, where are they?" As the two discussed various topics, Naruto pondered. The trio arrived at the Hokage Tower quickly and found Tsunade irritated. Naruto gestured to the two behind him after blinking a few times. "You okay, Tsunade?" inquired Naruto. Tsunade said angrily, "No, Konohamaru locked himself in my office." Tsunade appeared somewhat dubious, but Naruto declared, "I will get him out." Naruto told her, "Don't look at me like that." Tsunade warned, "Naruto, he has traps set up that fooled Junin." Her mouth fell open as Naruto said, "And you don't know that I have successfully pranked Enbu headquarters." Naruto smirked and remarked, "Ibiki was pissed." As they arrived at the office, Tsunade reflected, "It takes special Junin status to make it into Enbu headquarters." Naruto cocked his head sideways. Naruto warned, "Konohamaru, back away from the door." In an instant, he threw his katana at the door and buried it deep inside. The four of them heard the snapping of wires as the door opened. Naruto entered the room, yanked out the door, and smoothly sheathed the katana as he passed it. Naruto approached Konohamaru and gave him a fierce look. Konohamaru was leaning against a bookcase. Tsunade abruptly walked past Naruto and directly toward the boy. Tsunade stopped in front of Naruto, and he swallowed. How is she going to respond? Naruto pondered as he observed her stooping and reaching for the boy. She picked up a book and left, causing Konohamaru to wince as her hand touched his face. Approaching Konohamaru, Naruto roughly raised him off the ground. Naruto yelled angrily, "Do you realize how lucky you are? Tsunade could have easily turned those doors to splinters if she wanted to beat you." Naruto informed him. "If myself and her were to have a real fight, I would lose in less than a minute." Naruto continued. Naruto gently questioned, "What would compel you to do something this stupid?" while continuing to hold Konohamaru off the ground with his shirt. Konohamaru said, People will F. Forget Oji.san. Tears began to fall. Naruto dragged Konohamaru to the window and shook his head. Naruto pointed to the Hokage faces and remarked, "His face is up there." As he laid Konohamaru on the ground, Naruto remarked softly, "None could forget Sarutobi. GG because everyone in Konoha loved him. But, how about this, we will go around and make every person in Konoha promise not to forget about Sarutobi. GG? Said Naruto. Naruto grinned and remarked, "That way you will know that Sarutobi. GG will not be forgotten." Hinata put her arms around the sobbing boy and whispered, "I will help too." Naruto told him, "But first you need to stop crying." Naruto.kun. "No Hinata, do you think our enemies have stopped training because they are sad?" Naruto responded. "They will train just as hard if not harder so that they will be stronger than you." Naruto stated to her. "With Akatsuki after me I need to train no matter what my mood is." Naruto continued. "Akatsuki?" inquired Konohamaru. Naruto assured him, "You do not need to know." "Hinata, did you think I didn't stop training because I had 3 holes in my stomach?" replied Naruto. "Well no, but Hinata clan heiresses and people like myself have a lot of enemies." Naruto stated to her. "They would not hesitate to attack during our time of weakness?" replied Naruto. Hinata remarked, "I know that Naruto.kun." Naruto watched Konohamaru wipe away his tears and said, "Konohamaru, use that sadness to fuel your will to train, protect the people who you care about." With a slight flush, Konohamaru teases Naruto, "I mean it will be kinda embarrassing if Hanabi-chan sees you like this." Konohamaru's hair was ruffled by Naruto. Naruto led the other two out of the office, saying, "Come on, let's start getting people to promise not to forget Sarutobi. GG. They followed Naruto to a tea shop. Shizune said, "Tsunade. Sama, what are you doing?" to the three. "Do you remember Kabuto's ability to heal himself almost instantly?" Tsunade inquired. Shizune said, "Yeah." Tsunade said to Shizune, "Well, I want to try to find a way to apply that to a boy named Rock Lee. If I can do that, it might increase his chances of survival by at least 1%. Tsunade continued, "It is a surgery that only someone of my caliber can do." Shizune said sarcastically, "Well, no one is as good as you in medical ninjutsu." Naruto turned to face a startled Konohamaru. Naruto put his hand on Konohamaru's shoulder and said, "You see, Konoha is in good hands for now." As Konohamaru shook his head and fled in search of his companions, Naruto questioned, "Do you still want to go around and make people promise?" Naruto nodded, and Hinata remarked, "You knew Tsunade. Sama was in there. Naruto informed her, I followed her scent to here. As the two entered the tea shop and saw Tsunade reading a number of books and scrolls, Naruto said, come on, let's go talk to Tsunade. Naruto said, hey, Tsunade. Hinata reprimanded, Naruto.kun, talk to her with respect. Tsunade remarked, you see she knows respect. Naruto threatened, maybe I should release the genjutsu you have on yourself. Tsunade retorted, I would bash you into the ground. Naruto informed her, you would have to catch me first. Tsunade told him, shut it brat, I have a mission for you, Neji, and Tenten. Neji will be team leader and you will listen to him. Tsunade replied. Then Naruto said, okay. When do we leave? Naruto nodded as Tsunade stated, they're at the East Gate now. This is a D-ranked mission. As the two genin left the tea shop, Naruto said, okay. The eastern gate at the gate, Neji and a frustrated Tenten awaited Naruto's arrival. Where is he? Tenten cried out. Naruto and Hinata. Sama haven't been seen in 3 days Tenten. Neji stated to her. As Naruto approached them, Hinata questioned, how many times do I have to tell you not to be so formal with me Neji.ni.san? Calmly, Neji said, I lost count at 100 times. Naruto and Tenten nodded, and Neji said, we have to head out now. As the three genin disappeared, Naruto said, bye Hinata. Heim. They were jumping quickly from branch to branch. Naruto questioned, why are you leaping so fast? Tenten remarked, I think it is a force of habit. Guy. Sensei and Lee make us run all the time at an insane speed. She stated to him. Really? Inquired Naruto. Naruto informed her, I have to slow down because of Sasuke Sakura. Tenten said, how fast can you run? But a black blur went by. His speed caused her mouth to drop open in surprise. She thought, he's faster than Lee and Guy. Intense weight training and you can be this fast too, said Naruto. Naruto informed her, my cloak weighs about 30 times my body weight. As they traveled at a constant speed, Naruto informed her, it has a seal on it that increases in weight proportionate to how much chakra I place in it. Something seemed a bit off to Naruto. Naruto whispered, Neji. As Tenten became a fangirl after seeing Naruto pull out his katana, Neji exclaimed, I see them, two shinobi. Her eyes were full of hearts as she exclaimed, oh my god. That is a beautiful blade. She asked quickly, where did you get it? What kind of metal is it? Can it channel chakra? Can I have it? I got it from Zabuza Momoichi. The metal is chakra metal. Yes, it can channel chakra and no you cannot even touch it unless you want to have basically an A-ranked lightning jutsu going through your hand. I wouldn't touch it. Naruto informed her. Tenten inquired with a hint of surprise, how can you wield it then? Naruto demonstrated to her the swirl on the hilt's butt. This is a katana from the Uzumaki clan of Whirlpool. 9 of these swords were made to battle against demons. Naruto stated to her. Each sword has a dragon sealed into it, strengthening it and making it so it never dulls. Tenten trailed off in admiration of the katana, saying, wow. Naruto informed her, this one is the second strongest. The strongest was given away to a non-Uzumaki who was somehow able to wield it. Naruto stated, I have not learned who that blade was given to. Tenten inquired, how strong were the Uzumakis? She nodded, and Naruto said, you know the 7 swordsmen of the mist? Naruto informed her that, they are basically beginners compared to an amateur Uzumaki. If I wasn't the last Uzumaki I would have started to learn about the blade at the age of 2. Naruto clarified. Neji informed them, they are keeping a safe distance behind us. Naruto sheathed the katana and said, okay, warn me if they advance on us. They discovered a shack in the woods. Naruto inquired, what are we getting? As they touched down in front of the house, Neji declared, weapons for Konoha. Naruto took a whiff of the air. No one has been in this house for at least 2 days, the scents are pretty low. Naruto informed them. When the 3 entered the house and saw everything in disarray, Tenten asked, what do you think happened to them? Naruto informed the 2, I can't tell where they went, but it reeks of oil and smoke in here. Neji made a hand gesture and said, let me take a look. Byakugan. Neji cried, his head's veins bulging on the side. Neji pushed the door open and said, there is a trap door here. The 3 entered a narrow hallway that led to a target dummy situated in the center of a bridge. When massive pendulums began to swing, Naruto remarked, this doesn't seem right. I could use my wind element to cut them all down, but the person who made it seemed to think ahead and have them swinging in different tempos, so if they were to be cut down it would destroy the bridge. Naruto stated to them. Neji said, can you cut them down one by one? No, my wind element is too strong at its weakest, I would slice them all down at once. Naruto replied to the 2. Naruto pointed to the dummy and remarked, I think we need to hit the bullseye on the target. Tenten confidently pulled out a kunai and tracked the pendulums, saying, I can do it. She threw it, and it hit the bullseye after passing through every pendulum. As the pendulums paused and plunged into the ceiling, she uttered the words, see. With his hand on the hilt of his katana, Naruto asked the three as they crossed the bridge, what do you think will happen next? When Naruto heard a slight click, he drew his katana just as a pendulum approached. The blade was pushing him back, but he stopped it in its tracks by blocking it. Get across now, Naruto uttered with difficulty. His feet began to slowly come off the ledge. The pendulum came back down, almost hitting him as he twisted quickly. When Neji asked, are you okay Naruto? Naruto sheathed his katana and said, I am fine. Tenten was a little irate at his carelessness and asked, aren't you going to check for any chips? Naruto informed her, I don't need to. She nodded, and Naruto said, you know Orochimaru's sword grasscutter? I chipped his sword with my katana. When they reached a sizable rectangular room, she muttered, wow. Naruto asked, what do you think this room will have? Neji informed him that when numerous animated training dummies charged at them, we will have no idea. Naruto cut some in half in response to Neji's command, Naruto, take them out with your wind element. Naruto sliced a few more in half and said, I never did any wind element jutsus underground, for all I know I could bring this entire room down. Neji screamed, Kaden, and began spinning, knocking away a few dummies. Tenten use it. Tenten yelled, okay Neji.kun. As she snatched up 2 scrolls, leapt into the air, and spun around. Twin Dragon Jutsu. She cried out as the scrolls began to spew out weapons. The ones that were going to hit Naruto were being deflected. All of the dummies fell to the ground, still, and Naruto remarked, wow, that is similar to Hinata. Heim's Feather Barrage. Neji gave the order, let's get going. Naruto nodded, and the three of them proceeded to the opposite door. They entered a room with numerous weapons after walking down the hallway. Tenten reverted to her fangirl side and began to swoon over all the exquisitely designed weapons. Naruto raised his katana. Gazing at the blade, Naruto remarked, it is nicely crafted. Naruto went on to say, it would last about a minute against mine. An old voice exclaimed, how dare you talk about my weapons like that? Naruto turned to see a younger man with an elderly man. Naruto took his katana out of its sheath. As the man stared at him, Naruto said, mine in an Uzumaki legendary sword. The elderly man exclaimed in wonder, that is Baraku Hakai. He muttered, the lost Uzumaki katana. As Neji approached the man and gave him a list, Naruto replied, yup. Neji instructed him, we need you to make these immediately. 10,000 kunai, 20,000 shuriken, and any experimental weapons I have. The elderly gentleman replied. The man led the three to a table and said, okay, let me show you a few of the experimental weapons. He raised a kunai. Gazing at the strange kunai, Naruto questioned, how are you supposed to throw it without a handle? Holding up a handle with loops on both sides, he exclaimed, that is why I made this. Naruto asked sardonically, is he senile? Naruto reprimanded Tenten. Naruto said, geez sorry. Gazing at the strange weapons, Neji remarked, I have to side with Naruto on this matter. The old man said, these weapons are perfectly fine. As the man paused, Naruto said, throw the kunai then. Naruto inquired, do you have any other weapons? As he led them away, the elderly man said, yes, come with me. After 15 minutes while strapped to a massive shuriken, Naruto asked sardonically, how did I pick to be in his? Okay, when in the air all you need to do is using the handles to direct yourself, the elderly gentleman replied. Naruto cried out, I don't think this is awe, as he was hurled into the air. Pull the lever, shouted the elderly man. Ah, Naruto exclaimed as he spun into the target and boosters sounded. Naruto was covered in soot when Tenten and Neji rushed to the target. Coughing up dust, Naruto uttered, I hate you. As he brushed himself off, Naruto questioned, is there any other weapon that won't end up with me being hurt? The elderly man listened carefully and said, well, there is one weapon. As they began to return to the weapon chamber, he added, but it has been left untested. He produced a big scroll. Naruto looked at the scroll and arched an eyebrow. Naruto pondered, that is an advanced storage seal, and that weapon must be enormous given a seal of that size. As he led them to the front of the house, the elderly man said, follow me please. A shield. Wielding man exclaimed, hey old man, hand over that weapon. Naruto said, taking his katana out of its sheath, I was wondering when you would show yourself. The old man said, that is my Suru. Came. He shouted at the other man, and that is Dako, instead. The one with Dako declared, "These weapons are ours." Naruto's neck cracked. Naruto kicked off the ground and flew at the man with the shield, saying, "It has been a while since I last got in a fight." A lot of sparks were produced when Naruto's katana struck the shield. The man skidded backwards under Naruto's ferocious attack. The man remarked, "Hey, attacks like those won't do anything to me." Naruto squatted and stalked in the direction of the man, saying, "Check the shield." There was a big cut on the shield face when the man looked at it. As he struck again, causing another gash, Naruto remarked, "My Baraku Hakai can cut through almost anything." Tenten yelled, "Naruto," as Naruto deflected a blow meant for his back. As he deflected another attack from the Dako, Naruto reflected, "That shield is pretty tough to withstand my attacks." As the shield opened and Senbon fired at him, Naruto thought, "I won't touch them as long as they have that shield and spear combo." Naruto immediately began evading and deflecting every Senbon. "Only Jidonda can defeat that combination," the elderly man exclaimed as he gave Tenten the scroll. When she opened the weapon, a huge spiked club was visible. "The only problem is that it is too heavy to lift." Naruto screamed, "I can only hold off these attacks for so long," as Neji materialized and began to spin. He cried out, "Kaden," as he developed the best Hyuga defense. Naruto went to defend against the Senbon once more and asked, "Neji, how do you make the Kaden?" While avoiding the Senbon and Dako, Neji remarked, "I can't tell you I could be brought in front of the Hyuga Council." "Damn it!" cried Naruto. Lowering his head, Naruto pushed chakra into his cloak, making it heavier and more difficult. The cloak hit the ground with a trembling thud, and the Senbon bounced off Naruto's body as he slept innocuously. Naruto had concealed Neji. Naruto questioned, "Why are you using me as a shield?" The sarcastic Neji remarked, "Because you are a nice shield." Pushing chakra into his legs, Naruto raised the bulky cloak and began to retreat. Naruto returned all of the chakra he had placed in the cloak to himself. "Tenten, have you figured out how to? Why is there explosive seals on that thing?" asked Naruto. Tenten remarked, "Defend for me. If you want I could give you a boost into the air," Naruto replied. As Naruto crossed his fingers, the elderly man remarked, "That thing weighs a lot." Naruto yelled, "Multi Shadow Clone Jutsu," as half of the 100 clones that had materialized attacked the Dui shinobi. A third of them ran at the mace, slid across the ground, and kicked it into the air as the others surrounded it. Then, the next third leapt into the air, kicking it higher, and the final one leapt immediately after the second wave, which caused the mace to soar even higher. Naruto bellowed, "It is all up to you now," as he collapsed to the ground. After focusing his wind element behind him, Naruto suddenly launched himself at the two shinobi at breakneck speed. He struck the ground so hard that the two shinobi were blown back. Behind him, he could hear the explosions. Weakly, Naruto got up and jumped back. As Naruto saw the enormous mace transform into a flail, he fell to one knee. When the enormous ball struck the two shinobi and crushed them to the ground, he flinched. Tenten smiled with satisfaction as he landed on the ball with ease. Neji and Naruto simultaneously said, "Remind me not to make her mad." When Naruto sensed that his muscles were nearly healed, he stood up feebly. Neji nodded, then stopped, and Naruto remarked, "Your girlfriend is pretty strong." Before halting, the chakra flowed to Naruto's arm with a quick jab to the shoulder. Neji declared, "She isn't my girlfriend." Naruto yelled, "Ow," as he stabbed Neji in the leg, causing him to tip over onto his side. Neji hit the points, causing them to reopen, and exclaimed, "How did you shut the chakra off to my leg?" Gathering his chakra, Naruto poured it into his arms, causing them to reopen. "The Hyugas use a needle's length and width of chakra while I can only use the equivalent of a spear," Naruto replied. Naruto smirked and said, "I could miss your chakra points, but I will still shut down the chakra network." As Naruto assisted Neji in standing up, Neji remarked, "You are something else, Naruto. Hinata showed me the general area of the chakra network so I could incorporate gentle fist strikes into my taijutsu form I am creating." Neji was told by Naruto. Naruto grinned and remarked, "Disrupting chakra while dealing insane amounts of damage." Neji said, "You are something else." "Thanks." Naruto grinned widely. Tenten was trying to drag the enormous weapon when the two boys turned around. Naruto remarked, "I think we need to help your girlfriend." He yelled, "She isn't my girlfriend." As the two ran up to Tenten, Naruto grinned and said, "Ya, whatever you say." Naruto cautioned, "If I were you too, I would back away." As Naruto kicked it and it rolled a few feet, Tenten remarked, "You can't possibly move that by yourself." Her mouth fell open. Naruto glared at Neji and remarked, I would make shadow clones to move it but someone messed up my chakra flow. The ball continued to roll after Naruto kicked it once more. Tenten said, hey, why don't I seal it up? As Tenten flushed, Naruto remarked, because I need to release a little frustration your boyfriend gave me. Tenten muttered, he isn't my boyfriend, but I can hope, she reflected. Neji thought, she sounded disappointed that I am not her boyfriend, but he dismissed it. Neji said, can we get the kunai and shuriken? As Naruto kicked the ball once more while grinning malevolently. Neji thought, I feel like he thinks that ball is my face. Neji, take that. As Naruto kicked the ball once more, he thought. Naruto caught a glimpse of Neji and the elderly man entering the house. Tenten, Neji, and Naruto were strolling down the street. Each of them was carrying a single large scroll, while Naruto was carrying 4. The fact that he was carrying the most items annoyed Naruto. Naruto moved the scrolls around and asked, why am I the pack mule? Tenten said, because you maliciously attacked that weapon. Naruto stated, so I kicked it into the cliff wall. Tenten said dryly, you dented the supposedly undentable weapon. Naruto was sheepish when he said, it was false advertisement. As Naruto went pale, Tenten said, I am telling Hinata-chan. As Naruto shrugged, Neji remarked, you damaged a unique weapon. Naruto questioned, I paid for the damages didn't I? Tenten inquired, how did you get that much money? She shook her head no, and Naruto asked, have you seen my mission record? This will be the first D-ranked mission I have had since before the wave mission, Naruto said. According to Naruto, well in person that is. Normally when Team 7 does D-ranked mission Sakura and I just create shadow clones to take our spots on the team while they do those missions and Sakura, Anko and myself do C-ranked missions. Naruto stated to them. Neji questioned, so you don't actually do D-ranked missions? Well technically we are because shadow clones have their own chakra network and a tangible body. The user of the jutsu even gets the memories back from the clones so Sakura and I actually are doing the missions in a sense. Naruto clarified. Wow, Tenten exclaimed in amazement. Naruto grinned and remarked, yeah, it is a surprisingly complicated jutsu. Tenten inquired, what other jutsus do you know? Well I know some A, B, and C ranked water ninjutsu, and a lot of wind ninjutsus that I learned how to make from scrolls and made a few of my own. Like the Cyclone Dragon Jutsu. Naruto replied. That is an A-ranked ninjutsu for me but SS. Ranked ninjutsu for other people. Naruto continued. Tenten questioned, why is the level difference so spread apart? Naruto informed her, anyone below cage rank would die from one use. Naruto told her that, it takes a lot of chakra and chakra control to do it, and a primary element of wind. Tenten questioned, how are you able to do it then? Turning to Neji expectantly, Naruto said, ask Neji he knows why. He has about 5 times more chakra than Tsunade. Sama when he left to find her. Neji replied. Neji said to the startled girl, I am not too sure about how much chakra he has now. As the three could see the walls, Naruto declared, we are almost to Konoha. What were you imagining when you were kicking the weapon? Neji inquired. Naruto skillfully lied by saying, nothing. Right, Neji said, not taking him seriously. The two teenagers blushed when Naruto said, so maybe we should go on a double date? The two shouted, we aren't dating, together. They nodded, and Naruto questioned, well do you two eat out alone? They nodded once more when I asked, do you like to spend time alone together? And do you two want to date each other? They asked, nodding once more before exchanging disbelieving glances. Naruto said, well I will leave you two alone. And then he vanished in a sudden rush of speed. As he leapt in the direction of Konoha, Naruto thought, that went better than I thought. As he moved farther away from them, Naruto's curiosity grew. Would it really be that bad to spy on them? Yes, Naruto.kun, Kyuubi informed him. Naruto said aloud, you know you are curious too. Maybe, Kyuubi said to him, but I can wait for them to come out and say it. Killjoy. Naruto heard Kyuubi snicker. As Naruto heard Neji and Tenten approaching him, Kyuubi reassured him, don't worry, Naruto.kun. They're coming. Ask them for details. Kyuubi gave the order. When he heard Kyuubi growl at him, Naruto thought smugly, they will tell me when they are ready. Naruto raised an eyebrow as he looked at the two and saw that they were closer to one another. After 20 minutes the three arrived at the gate. Naruto found his two temporary teammates' antics amusing. Naruto thought amusedly, they are a little shy around each other now. Naruto nodded, and Neji said, well, let's go report in and go our different ways. According to Naruto, fine by me. Gazing up at the sky, Naruto pondered, I wonder what Hinata Haim is up to. A sluggish voice screamed in agony, "Girls are trouble, ouch." Naruto heard it. Naruto turned to see Temari and Shikamaru. Temari shouted at Shikamaru, "Stop it, you lazy idiot." Naruto grinned at the pair. "You're falling behind, Naruto." Naruto shook his head and sprinted to them with ease as Tenten called to him. "I wonder if Gaara is here." Naruto smiled and said, "Sorry, got a little sidetracked." He and his team entered the Hokage office, where Tsunade was completing paperwork and complaining that the devil was making it to irritate her. Neji laid the scroll on the ground and Tenten did the same, saying, "Tsunade Sama, we have returned with the weapons." As he laid the 4 scrolls he possessed on the ground, Naruto remarked, "They used me as a pack mule." Tsunade snickered at Naruto, which caused him to glare at her. As they nodded and departed, Tsunade said, "Well, you can get your pay for the mission after you write up the mission report, Neji. You two can leave, I have another mission for Naruto." "So, Ka-san, what is the mission?" Naruto inquired. "I am sending Team 7 and 3 Suna Shinobi to border to guard it," Tsunade replied. "Is Gaara's team present for that reason?" Naruto inquired. As Naruto nodded to her, Tsunade informed him, "Well, Temari tagged along, but she isn't going on the mission. It will be Gaara and 2 Suna Chunin. Gaara's team will be waiting for Team 7 at the borders." "All right," Naruto replied. "Are my teammates aware of the mission?" Tsunade gave Naruto a nod in response to his question. He nodded and Tsunade said, "They should be waiting for you at the northern gate." As he leapt across the rooftops, Naruto thought, "I can sense something will happen." He said, "Okay." It didn't take him long to reach the gate where he was meeting his team. "What on earth have you been up to?" Naruto ignored an obnoxious voice that said, "Hey, I have a question." The Uchiha boy growled in rage at Naruto's emotionless statement, "I don't care. We should get going," Naruto said, before jumping off without Kakashi's response, and Sakura followed him. Kakashi remarked, "Naruto, I didn't say we could leave. And how long have I given a damn about what you told me to do?" As he accelerated his pace, Naruto said, "That just proves how absorbed with Sasuke you are. You haven't even noticed that the real Sakura and I have not done a single D-ranked mission with you," Naruto said. "Is that accurate?" Sakura was asked by Kakashi. Before speeding up, Sakura informed him, "Naruto and I have been doing C-ranked missions with Anko Sensei while we had shadow clones doing the missions and training sessions with you." Kakashi accelerated himself and said, "Come on Sasuke." Sakura was right behind him, next to Kakashi, and Sasuke took the back. Naruto sniffed the air and sensed something was wrong, but he couldn't identify it. The 4 of them leapt towards the borders in silence for a few hours. As the 4 came to a halt, Kakashi said, "Let's take a break." Naruto sighed and shook his head when he noticed that Sasuke was breathing heavily. As Naruto put it, "Fine. What is causing your fatigue?" Sasuke inquired. Sasuke had snarled at Naruto's jab, "We shouldn't keep the Suna Shinobi waiting." Naruto told them he was going to jump, but Kakashi put his hand on his shoulder. "No, I can keep going, but you look like you were about to pass out." Naruto stood motionless, his cloak blown around his legs by a wind. Kakashi remarked, "We don't want to be exhausted if a fight happens." Naruto simply looked at him and said, "I have plenty of energy." Kakashi remarked, "But none of us have your boundless energy." With a menacing smirk, Naruto remarked, "I am certain that Sasuke could keep up with Sakura and me if you allow Anko to train him." Standing erect, Sasuke remarked, "She can't be that tough." Naruto gave him a mildly amused look and smirked as he said, "You would be lucky to have enough strength to drag yourself to the hospital after one of her sparing secessions." Kakashi remarked, "She can be a bit rough." Dryly, Naruto remarked, "She managed to get me admitted to the hospital for 3 days. Sakura and Kakashi noticed Naruto's eyes flash red as Sasuke sneered, "Hey, you are nothing. You were in the hospital after the invasion." Naruto said icily, "I am going to go look around," and then he leapt away. Orochimaru brought his parents back to life, so Naruto had to fight and kill them, Sakura said icily, glaring at Sasuke. Orochimaru forced them to attack Naruto. The 2 strongest shinobi he had ever encountered delivered 3 terrible blows to him, Sakura continued. "What is with these scents?" Naruto thought as he looked around and said, "We should get going." "Is Naruto having a problem?" Kakashi inquired, observing that he was alert. Warily, Naruto remarked, "I can smell a lot of conflicting scents." He also added, "I can't tell what they are." As they leapt away, Naruto and Sakura led the way, followed by Sasuke and Kakashi. "Let's meet up with Gaara's team," Kakashi said. An hour later when they reached a river after an hour of training, Naruto pulled out a kunai and threw it at Gaara, who was easily captured by his sand shield. On the other side of the river were Gaara and two Suna shinobi. "What are you doing, Naruto?" Kakashi insisted. "How could we be certain that he was Gaara?" As he leapt and hit the water, Naruto posed the question. As the two Chunin flinched, Gaara remarked, "You are very cautious, Naruto." Naruto informed him, "That is how I am still alive." Gaara said, "I bet it is." "Kakashi, I think we should go and talk about how we will approach this." Kakashi nodded, and the two leapt a little. "Are you aware of your recent actions? Gaara could have killed us all if you had attacked him," one of the Chunin demanded. He cried softly as Naruto used a kunai to clean beneath his fingernails. Looking at his fingernails, Naruto told them, "I am the one who beat him during the invasion." "Sakura, what do you think that is?" Naruto said simply, "I don't think that would have happened." Naruto asked, gesturing to her with his finger. "I'm not sure," she cried out. Naruto continued to try to clean his fingernails and said, "Okay." "Who are you?" "What?" inquired the other Chunin. Naruto put his kunai back in his pouch and said simply, "Naruto Uzumaki." "Naruto, you will go with Gaara. Sakura will go with Aoi and Sasuke will come with me and Boy." Kakashi responded. Together, Naruto and Sakura said, "Okay," before parting ways. Gaara and Naruto leapt to the west. "Are you also sensing them?" Gaara nodded almost imperceptibly as Naruto asked, "Should we greet them or wait for an attack?" Naruto inquired. Naruto nodded, and Gaara remarked, "Wait to see what they do." Gaara twitched slightly as Naruto said, "Whatever you say, Taicho." Gaara said, "Don't call me that." As Gaara's sand shield flared and blocked a kunai aimed at Naruto, Naruto said, "Fine." He then laughed a little. Naruto sniffed the air and could smell that the shinobi had approached. They should be attacking soon. Naruto thought as the two were soon surrounded by shinobi wearing demon masks. "Well, this is going to be fun." Naruto smirked. Naruto nodded and took out his katana as Gaara uttered the words, "Don't kill any of them." He watched Naruto close his eyes and said, "Gaara, condense the sand around us." The sand solidified and encircled the two. As an eye appeared on the exterior of the dome, Gaara thought, optical nerve connected. He turned to see the sky rapidly growing darker and a high-pitched whistling sound coming from somewhere. Dragon Cyclone. As Gaara saw a wind dragon soar through the sky with a roaring roar, Naruto yelled. With Aoi and Sakura, "What is this feeling?" Sakura thought as she heard a loud roar and noticed that the sky was getting darker. "Naruto!" she shouted as she spun around and bounded toward Naruto as quickly as she could. Returning with Naruto and Gaara, the two Jinchurikis watched the shinobi begin to stand as the wind dragon slammed into the ground, creating a huge cyclone that threw the men around. Naruto, who was panting from the effort of using the jutsu, dropped to one knee as the sand dome fell around them. "You're attacking us, but why?" Naruto made a demand. Gaara remarked, "It is because of me, Naruto. For the Shukaku." Naruto snarled angrily, his eyes flashing red. "Shadow Clone Jutsu," Naruto said, crossing his fingers. Naruto exclaimed as hundreds of clones appeared, shocking the shinobi. "Attack!" Naruto said, standing up as the clones started to attack the shinobi. "Come on, Gaara." As the two leapt away, Naruto yelled, "Who are they?" Gaara said, "My village's equivalent of your Anbu." He deflected a kunai aimed at him and Naruto told him, "They just beat the last of my clones. We have to meet up with our teams." Naruto said as Gaara nodded and they accelerated. Water jets flew past the two, asking, "What are they doing?" Naruto inquired. "When my sand becomes wet, it becomes too hard to lift for me," Gaara stated to him. Naruto demonstrated a few hand signals. Ultimate wind shield in wind style. A sphere of wind encircled the two, and Naruto yelled, "I can hold this for about 5 minutes before I need to drop it." As he opened a hole in the shield to let the two Jinchurikis in, Naruto, who was beginning to perspire from the stress of keeping the shinobi out, saw the other teams swarming toward them. "How much longer, Naruto?" Gaara inquired. "I have a last resort jutsu," Naruto exclaimed. "A minute 2 at tops. The chances of us surviving are almost non-existent at best." "What is it?" Sakura inquired. Weakly, Naruto informed her, "The true Cyclone Dragon Jutsu." "A real dragon cyclone?" Everyone inquired. "Yeah, the Cyclone Dragon I normally use is at about 5% of its maximum power." Naruto informed them. "If I am going to use it, I will need a minute to prepare for it." Naruto continued. "Unlike most ninjutsu, I need to recite an incantation with the jutsu." "What is their survivability if ours is, at best, virtually non-existent?" Sakura inquired as Naruto gave her a stern look. As the dome fell and the shinobi attacked, Naruto declared, "None of them will make it back to their families. Gaara and I will hold them off for as long as possible." Naruto commanded, cocking his arm back, "Use this time to escape." He deflected kunais and shuriken's katana. "Air bullet!" Naruto yelled as he punched a condensed ball of air at the closest man, making him fly backwards into a branch. "Run at them!" Naruto screamed. "No!" Before Kakashi knocked her unconscious, Sakura screamed. While the two Chunin and the rest of Team 7 ran, Kakashi commanded, "You had better come back." Gaara said, "This looks bad." As he fired another air bullet, a wave of kunai and shuriken flew at the two, and Naruto closed his eyes, anticipating the pain that would follow. Come on, if it didn't look bad then it wouldn't be fun. Kaden. Two voices called out. Jutsu, Twin Dragon. A third shouted, and Naruto opened his eyes to see a white and blue dome, with every possible sharp object flying all around them. As Hinata approached Naruto and struck his head, Neji remarked, "Tsunade. Sama got intel that this mission was going to be more difficult than thought before. And for you who tried to kill my boyfriend," Hinata said menacingly, "and if I ever hear of you even considering using that jutsu, I will kill you myself." "Blessed art. Death by an angel," Hinata exclaimed. "I couldn't bring myself to kill them." As millions of feathers flew from her wings and pierced through every shinobi, Hinata exhaled, gazing at the destruction she had caused. As Neji assisted him in standing, Naruto remarked, "That is good." He also told her, "You are too kind-hearted to kill anyone yet." According to Hinata, "I know. Where are the others?" Naruto inquired. Hinata informed him, "Not too far off." Naruto said feebly, "The ultimate wind shield took a lot out of me." Hinata stated, "I know it does, Naruto-kun. Well, what do we do about them?" While Neji continued to support him, Naruto told her to leave them and that they could drag themselves to Suna. "I believe we should get Naruto to a hospital," Neji replied. "His chakra is a little low." Although Neji essentially carried Naruto away, Hinata remarked, "Okay, let's get back to Konoha as fast as possible." Naruto was lying in the hospital bed, agitated. Naruto thought, "I believe Ka-san is punishing me for considering using that jutsu." Hinata. Haim had to tell her, "But why?" Naruto pondered. "It's time for your check. Up, Naruto-kun," Shizune said as he entered. "Hey Shizune-ne. Chan." Naruto began to murmur. Shizune said, "You sound depressed." Naruto told her, "I hate hospitals." With a slight smile, Shizune informed him, "No one really likes them, Naruto-kun." Shizune laughed and Naruto said, "Ka-san is loving this, isn't she?" Shizune suggested, "Next time don't think about doing something so foolish." Naruto assured her, "I will do anything to protect the people I love." "I know you would be you." Shizune was interrupted by an Anbu, who said, "Naruto Uzumaki, you are requested by the Hokage immediately." "What is it?" inquired Naruto gravely. Before disappearing, the Anbu declared, "Sasuke Uchiha has deserted the village." In an instant, Naruto threw off his blankets to reveal his shinobi gear. Shizune gave him a blink. Naruto questioned, "What?" while Shizune shook her head. As he jumped out the window, she said, "Just go." Alongside Naruto in an attempt to reach the Hokage tower, he was jumping across the rooftops as quickly as he could. "Sasuke, what are you thinking?" As he kicked off another roof, Naruto pondered. Shikamaru was standing there when Naruto blasted through the window of the Hokage office. With seriousness, Tsunade remarked, "Good you are here." Tsunade pulled out two Chunin vests and added, "First, I have something for you too. You two are promoted to Chunin rank for what you two did during the invasion." Naruto, several Junin and Anbu commented how you took charge. Shikamaru, you used your mind to incapacitate several enemy shinobi and a lot of Junin were impressed by you. She offered praise. Your mission as newly promoted Chunin is to gather a team and go after Sasuke Uchiha and bring him back, Tsunade stated. The pair said, "Yes ma'am," and were ready to go when Tsunade touched Naruto's shoulder. Tsunade said to Shikamaru, "I need to talk with Naruto for a second." Before he left, he said, "Yes ma'am." Tsunade gave Naruto a hug. In his hair, Tsunade said, "You had better come back to me, Naruto." Naruto put his arms around her and said, "I will try Ka-san." Naruto said, "I have to get going," as he separated from the woman. Naruto nodded, and Tsunade remarked, "If it is either your life or his, take his life, Naruto." As he retreated from her and disappeared in his void Shunshin, Naruto uttered the words, "I will try to convince him first." Alongside Shikamaru outside, Shikamaru was waiting for Naruto to show up when everything around him turned completely black. Soon after, the light returned, and he noticed Naruto standing beside him. Shikamaru inquired, "What did Tsunade-sama want?" Naruto informed him, "She wanted us to be careful." Naruto questioned, "Who are we going to have on our team?" Shikamaru remarked, "I know the first person." He commanded, "Follow me," and then bounded off. Naruto questioned, "Who is it, Damari?" as he witnessed Shikamaru almost trip. Naruto laughed a little while his fellow Chunin calmed down. When the two arrived at a house, Shikamaru said, "No, it isn't that troublesome woman." A bag of chips was taken out by Shikamaru. As Naruto shrugged and the two began to eat the chips, Shikamaru said, "Naruto, help me eat these." When a gust of wind almost knocked Naruto down, he reached into the bag and the two quickly reached the final chip. When Naruto turned to face Choji, he was holding the chip. Before putting the chip in his mouth and chowing down, Choji declared, "I am the only one who eats the last chip. So what can I do for you too?" Naruto corrected himself mid-sentence, saying, "Wow, I didn't know I mean big-boned shinobi like you could move like that." Choji pulled a bag of chips out of nowhere and said, "People think I'm slow." The boys were immediately drawn to Shikamaru when he said gravely, "Choji, we need you for a mission." "What is it?" inquired Choji. "Sasuke Uchiha has left the village. Naruto and I have been charged in creating a team to go retrieve him." Shikamaru informed him. He informed Choji, "This is an AA ranked mission." Before Shikamaru and Naruto disappeared, Choji nodded and Shikamaru gave the order, "Meet at the northern gate." "Who is next?" inquired Naruto. Shikamaru informed him, "Kiba and Akamaru." Naruto nodded as he said, "I know you have a good nose, but it wouldn't hurt to have an experienced tracker on our team." Naruto remarked, "I remember his sister Hana. I liked her a lot. I always brought hurt animals to her." Shikamaru remarked, "You sure are troublesome. You can be so cold-blooded but at other times so caring." He thought about it. Naruto remarked, "Hey, I am not cold-blooded." Naruto went on to say, "I only kill as a last resort." "Anyway, that means you know the way through the Inuzuka compound," replied Shikamaru. He was told by Naruto, more or less, "I can get us to the general location but I don't know if I will be able to get us to the compound." Naruto continued. As they entered the tall grass, Shikamaru remarked, "I am sure they will smell us a mile away." With his eyes narrowing, Naruto asked, "Are you saying I smell?" Naruto opened his mouth to ask Shikamaru, "Why are all blonde troublesome?" As a puppy fell on Naruto's head, Shikamaru threatened, "So help me if you answer that question I will use the shadow strangling jutsu on you." As the dog joyfully barked, Naruto said, "Hello Akamaru." Reaching up, Naruto gave the puppy a back of ear scratch. When the two Chunin heard Kiba call, they said, "Akamaru, where are you buddy?" Naruto called, "Over here, Kiba." Kiba said, "Hey, what are you guys doing here?" Shikamaru declared, "We have an AA ranked mission." The two vanished after he said, "Meet us at the northern gate if you want to come." They were running toward the Hyuga compound when they first appeared outside of it. Naruto shook his head and Shikamaru said, "Hinata?" "No, in a mission like this I would be too worried about her getting hurt," said Naruto. Shikamaru unintentionally nodded as Naruto remarked, "It would be like you and Tamari." When Shikamaru realized what he was doing, he said, "I hate you." Naruto knocked on the door and said, "You are just one of many." Neji responded to it in no time at all. Neji said, "I will get Hinata-sama." With Neji's eyebrow raised, Naruto informed him, "Actually Neji, we need you on an AA ranked mission." Before the two vanished, Naruto said, "If you agree, meet us at the northern gate." Hinata inquired, "Who was that Neji.ni.san?" Neji lied, saying, "No one." Neji informed her, "I was just informed I have a mission." "Okay," said Hinata. As he collected his belongings, Neji thought, "I hope I am doing the right thing by lying." The northern gate at the same moment as Choji, Naruto and Shikamaru showed up at the gate. As they waited for the final two members to arrive, the three boys exchanged glances. Another girl called out, "Naruto." Sakura was running toward Naruto when he turned around. "Is it true that Sasuke left the village?" she inquired. "Yes myself. Shikamaru, Choji, Neji, and Kiba are going to go and attempt to retrieve him," Naruto stated to her. "I know you don't like him all that much but you have to bring him back," Sakura replied. When Naruto saw Kiba and Neji leaping towards them, he said, "I will try Sakura." Sakura nodded as Naruto said, "Sakura, do me a favor." Naruto told her gravely, "Wait a while before tell Hinata where I am." Sakura gave Naruto a hug after saying, "I will do that Naruto." Within his ear, she whispered, "Please come back to us." As Lee approached, she let go of the embrace. Naruto made eye gestures for Lee to follow him, and Lee did. The boy nodded, and Naruto said, "Lee, I want you to make me a promise." Naruto sternly admonished him, "If for some reason I cannot return, protect Hinata and Sakura with your life." Lee told him gravely, "I will die to protect them." Naruto.kun. Taking the boy's hand, Naruto uttered, "Heal fast, my friend." As Shikamaru gave the team an explanation of the mission, Naruto made his way back to them. Kiba boastfully said, "It's no surprise you wanted Akamaru and me on this team." Shikamaru told him gravely, "Don't get me wrong, I wanted Junin for this mission. There was evidence that Sasuke was not alone. We do not know the abilities, we are most likely at a disadvantage." Shikamaru stated to them, "Neji, you will be in the middle, Naruto you will take the back, Kiba the front, I will be after Kiba while Choji is in front of Naruto." Wouldn't Hinata be better, since she also has tracking experience?" Kiba responded. Neji informed him, "Normally, yes, but Naruto will be too worried about her." Naruto said, "We should get going." Kiba told Naruto, "Shut up, you are not team leader." After a gust of wind blew his cloak up and over his shoulder, someone said, "I mean Shikamaru is the one with the Chunin vest." Naruto flipped the cloak back over his shoulder and remarked cynically, "Oh look, I have one too." Kiba snarled at Naruto, who told him bluntly, "Don't make assumptions, Kiba, it could get you killed." As they all jumped off in line, Shikamaru said, "Let's get moving." When Hinata emerged from the shadows, frightening Sakura and Lee, they watched them leave. Sakura cried out, "Ah, Hinata," and then grabbed her chest. Hinata said, "Sorry to scare you, where did they go?" Incoherently, Sakura stated, "On a mission." Hinata inquired, "What is the mission?" Sakura lied and said, "I don't know." Hinata uttered the dangerous words, "Don't lie to me, Sakura." Sakura let out a sigh. Sasuke has deserted Konoha and Shikamaru and Naruto were charged to make a team to retrieve him. She stated to Hinata. Sakura cautiously questioned, "You are not upset Naruto didn't tell you?" Hinata turned and left, saying, "No, this is a common thing with shinobi." Lee remarked, "She took it well." He was perplexed when Sakura told him, "She is beyond pissed and worried, she doesn't want us to worry about her." Unable to understand, Lee asked, "How do you know that?" Sakura informed him, "Woman's intuition." Sakura led him away and said, "Now come on, let's get you back to bed." Alongside Naruto, Naruto tensed slightly and shivered. Neji questioned, "What is wrong, Naruto?" Naruto said uneasily, "I just got the feeling I don't want to go back to Konoha." This time Neji shivered, "It is probably Noth, I just got the feeling that something bad will happen to me when I get back," he stated. The Konoha Tenten and Hinata were sitting in the Hyuga courtyard at the moment. Tenten yelled angrily, "Neji is on that dangerous of a mission and he didn't tell me." She pulled out a scroll and trailed off, "Oh ho, when I get my hands on that boy." Alongside the retrieval group, Akamaru began to whimper, but Kiba responded, I feel completely fine." Kiba and Naruto sniffed the air. Kiba said, "Naruto, do you smell that?" Naruto said, "Blood and a lot of it." Naruto informed them, "I think a major fight broke out." "Do you think it was with the people we are chasing?" asked Kiba. According to Naruto, most likely. Naruto said, "Should we go investigate?" "No, if the people we are chasing didn't fight them then we will be wasting time." Shikamaru replied. As they nodded and bounded off, Shikamaru commanded, "And if they did fight I imagine they will need to rest. We should get going." "I see 4 people up ahead, they have large chakra reserves." Neji gave a warning. Together, Naruto and Kiba remarked, "They reek of blood." Akamaru gave a little whimper. "Akamaru isn't getting a good vibe of these people," Kiba replied. "I can smell something," Naruto went on, struggling to come up with the right word. As Akamaru yipped in agreement, Naruto concluded, "Maniacal about them." Neji said, "We have to think of something." Shikamaru remarked, "One of us should henge into one of them." Naruto informed him, "That plan has a few flaws. What if one of them can sense chakra?" asked the man. Neji informed him, "We will have to take that risk." Naruto informed them, "And one of might get killed. These aren't normal shinobi, they were able to sneak into Konoha and retrieve Sasuke. That is an incredibly difficult task in itself, but to get out with leaving little evidence is another." Naruto replied, "Like I told Kiba, assumptions will get us killed." Shikamaru said, "Then what do you suggest?" Naruto informed him, "We split into 2 groups. 2 goes on ahead setting up as many traps as possible while the other 3 stall for as much time as possible." Naruto stated to him. If I have to, I will kill them along with myself using the true Cyclone Dragon Jutsu. If it comes to that, run away, do not even try to stay. Naruto said. Naruto shocked them by saying, with my healing abilities I have less than a 1% chance to live. Shikamaru inquired, who will be sent to set up traps? Naruto said to him, Kiba and Neji. I will lead the attack against the 4 shinobi. Naruto replied. Shikamaru, try to hold them with your shadow possession jutsu for as long as possible. Naruto stated to him. He trailed off. Choji tried to keep when he felt like they were surrounded. How were they aware of our presence? Naruto pondered. Naruto yelled, they have found us. As he withdrew his katana and slashed out a massive wind blade that left a long gash on the ground and cut a boulder in half. A large man wearing a mohawk remarked, you seem to be strong. The teen girl made fun of him by saying, you seem to be strong. What a load of shit. The large man retorted, young ladies shouldn't use such language. The girl's response was, shut the hell up, fat ass. The two were told by a man with 6 arms, Jirobo, Tayuya, be silent. Tayuya remarked, let's just finish these brats off, Kitamaru. Jirobo said, let me take them out. As the other 3 leapt away, Kitamaru said to him, fine, but don't take so long to feed. He avoided a big boulder, and Naruto went to follow. Jirobo lifted a big rock out of the ground and threw it at Naruto, telling them, you will have to finish me off first to get to them. When Jirobo appeared in front of the group, Naruto leapt back to them. And he cried out, Earth-style barrier. Earth prison dome of magnificent nothingness, as a huge dome materialized above them. When Kiba asked, what is this? Jirobo called into the dome and said, this is a special dome that allows me to eat all of your chakra. This dome is indestructible, you cannot escape, and I will eat every last drop of your chakra. I don't think so, insisted Kiba. He screamed, piercing fang, and began to spin and hit everywhere. Damn it, stop Kiba! Exclaimed Naruto. What ought I to do? As Naruto sensed his chakra gradually evaporating, he thought. Kiba, Shikamaru was interrupted by Naruto, who said, I have an idea. Naruto focused and closed his eyes. As Neji activated his Byakugan, Shikamaru demanded, Neji, what is he doing? He was so shocked that his mouth fell open. Naruto is summoning forth an almost unimaginable amount of chakra, it is red and blue. Neji stated to them. Naruto shouted, if you want chakra then take it, as chakra began to appear all around him. Describe this chakra. Jirobo pondered. Naruto knelt down. Naruto roared, I am getting out of here, as he let flow more chakra. Under the strange chakra, his teammates saw the walls begin to crumble. The dome abruptly fell away. With a blood-red chakra cloak over his head, Naruto stood in the middle of the rubble. The chakra withdrew into Naruto's stomach seal as he inhaled deeply. Jirobo demanded, what was that power? When Choji stopped him from attacking, Naruto said, something that you will never see again. Choji said to them, you guys go ahead. Choji, Shikamaru, Naruto, and Kiba started. Pulling out some wire with kunai on it, Choji said, you need to catch up with the others, let me handle this guy. Choji yelled, expansion jutsu. As he grew and the kunais protruded. Choji screamed, spiked human bullet tank. As his head and limbs ducked into his torso. At once he began to spin in Hirobo's direction. Sheathing his katana, Naruto said, let's go. He then leapt away, with the others following closely behind. Choji, stay alive, Naruto thought. Jirobo saw Choji roll quickly in his direction. He caught Choji sliding backwards by extending his arms. Jirobo jeered, hey, that actually hurt a little. How did he prevent me? As Jirobo picked him up and tossed him across the clearing, Choji pondered. Choji landed on his feet after dispelling the jutsu. As he sidestepped, Choji thought, I got to think of something. He demonstrated several hand signals. Choji cried out, partial expansion both arms. As his arms grew into enormous appendages. With a crunch that was sickening, he dropped both of his arms on Jirobo. Choji smiled a little, but as soon as he felt his fists being raised, he scowled. Choji remarked, you are pretty feisty for a fat kid. Returning to Konoha, why does it feel like my loved one was just insulted? After giving it some thought, Ino dismissed it and resumed her flower tending duties. Alongside Choji, what sort of power is this? As Choji's arms grew back to their typical size, he thought. Choji jumped back and refilled his chakra by swallowing a few food pills. As he charged at the man, Choji thought, I will have to beat him in taijutsu. Jirobo sarcastically asked, oh, did I make Fatty mad? Which infuriated Choji. Choji punched to the left. With his enlarged right fist, Choji punched Jirobo, sending him flying backwards and slamming into multiple trees. Partial expansion right arm, he exclaimed. Earth release. Earth shaking palm. Jirobo cried out over Choji. In order to avoid the attack, Choji immediately rolled to the left, but the force of the blow striking the ground blew him away. Jirobo remarked, "For a fat kid, you were fast." Choji knelt on one knee and said, "You shouldn't be talking." As he took out a case, Choji thought, "I'm going to have to use them." Jirobo questioned, "What are those?" Choji popped the green pill into his mouth and crunched down on it, saying, "This is the spinach pill." Immediately, his chakra began to rise, and he lost weight. Choji yelled, "Partial expansion jutsu both arms." As his arms expanded to 3 times their typical size. With one arm, Choji slapped Jirobo into the air, and with the other, he slammed him viciously into the ground. Jirobo was on the ground, and Choji continued to slam his hands down. The size of his arms returned to normal. Jirobo stood up and startled Choji by saying, "Okay, I have to admit that one hurt." Jirobo yelled, "Earth style. Earth mausoleum dumpling," as he raised a huge chunk of earth out of the earth. As the man hurled the enormous chunk of earth at him, Choji gazed in mild terror. The rock flew by Choji, who just managed to sidestep it. He was thrown backwards through a tree after being kicked in the stomach just as he was standing. Choji halted on his hands and knees after rolling backwards. A small amount of blood came up in his cough. Choji sensed that the chakra that the spinach pill had given him was beginning to fade. This isn't good, Choji thought as he stumbled to his feet and was kicked once more in the direction of the clearing. Choji rolled over the floor. As he stopped rolling, Choji thought, "I'll have to use it." As he took out the pillbox once more, Choji fell to his knees. He chomped down on the yellow pill after popping it into his mouth. Once more, he experienced a high-level chakra surge. He gave a slight wince of pain. As Jirobo tried to kick him again, Choji thought, "The effects are kicking in now." He stopped the kick with his bare hand. Jirobo was kicked into the air by Choji as he stood up faster than he could see. What was the source of this strength? As he soared through the air, Jirobo thought. Choji cried out, "Partial expansion left arm," as his left arm expanded, enabling him to grab Jirobo and slam him against the ground head first. Jirobo yelled, "Earth style. Earth mausoleum dumpling," as he grabbed another enormous rock and hurled it at Choji, who effortlessly knocked it away with his enlarged arm. Jirobo watched Choji begin to run at him while making hand signals and said, "Those jutsu won't do anything to me." Jirobo grinned when Choji screamed, "Super expansion jutsu," as he initially grew to the standard expansion jutsu. However, that smirk vanished as soon as Choji grew to the size of a small mountain and landed on top of him. As he crushed everything beneath him, Choji grinned. Choji thought, but his thoughts were interrupted when he felt himself raised off the ground. Choji soon returned to his typical size. He noticed that Jirobo's skin was developing odd marks. As his skin darkened and his hair began to grow, Jirobo remarked, "I can't believe you brought this out of me." Jirobo said in a distorted voice, "Hey, you just lost." The effects of the second pill began to set in for Choji. As Jirobo struck Choji in the stomach, sending him flying backwards through multiple trees, Choji thought, "This isn't good." As Jirobo materialized behind him and kicked him back into the clearing, Choji thought, "His strength has increased." Choji rolled onto his back after colliding with the clearing. With weakness, Choji took out the pillbox and examined the red pill, thinking, "I will have to use that pill. After this, I might not make it back," Choji reflected. Rewind, a little fat boy was trying to play with some other children. "Let's play Shinobi," exclaimed one of them. "Okay." The children cheerfully chimed. They divided into groups. As the team began counting, the captain joyfully exclaimed, "Okay, we will look first." In search of a hiding spot, the other team fled in all directions. While scanning his surroundings, the chubby boy spotted a member of his team. He approached the boy. The boy said sternly, "What are you doing? Go find your own place to hide." He whispered, "Go on, Choji, before you get us caught." As 2 cardboard shurikens struck the 2 children. As the boy demanded, "See what you did." A short time later, the team conducting the search declared, "Looks like we won." The other team leader stated, "That is because we were stuck with Choji." Choji felt even worse when he added, "He is the worst at this game." The boy sarcastically said, "Let's just play without him." A slack-looking boy gave the fat boy a half-interested glance. The opposing team said, "Then the teams will be uneven." The leader of the hiding team said sternly, "So what, whoever has Choji is at a disadvantage." Choji began to leave without saying anything to the other children. He was dejectedly staring at the ground. "I detest the way they treat me. Choji thought sorrowfully. He ascended a flight of stairs that led to a covered bench on the roof. He pulled out a bag of chips and began eating too many of them while sitting alone on the bench. Lazy voice said, "Your name is Choji, right?" The boy sighed in boredom as Choji asked, "Yeah, what is yours?" Shikamaru informed him, "My name is Shikamaru Nara." Choji questioned, "Weren't you playing shinobi with the others?" Shikamaru stuffed his hands in his pockets and said, "Yeah, but it became too troublesome for me to play anymore." He then moved to sit next to Choji and gaze up at the clouds from the bench. Gazing up at the sky, Shikamaru informed him, "This is much more enjoyable." Gazing up at the sky, Choji said, "It is a nice view." Choji handed Shikamaru a bag of chips and said, "Chip?" Shikamaru took a handful and ate them slowly after jamming his hand inside the bag. The two stayed there, silently observing the passing clouds. The voice boomed, "Hello, Choji." Choji looked up at the enormous man and said, "Hello, Dad." Choji's father inquired, "Who is your friend?" Choji said, "Oh, this is Shikamaru Nara." Dad said, "Oh, Shikaku's boy." With a bored tone, Shikamaru remarked, "That is my father." Shuza informed Shikamaru, "Well, I am Shuza Akamichi, Choji's father." Shikamaru raised his head to glance at the elderly man and remarked, "It is nice to meet you, Shuza-sama." Shuza informed Shikamaru, "Shuza is just fine." Shikamaru shrugged indifferently but stood nonetheless when Shuza said, "Anyway, we have to get going. Shikamaru, how about I take you home too?" They made their way to Shikamaru's house in silence. Shikamaru called out to the chubby boys, "Hey Choji?" To the boys' surprise, he asked, "Want to go there again tomorrow?" As he watched the slothful boy enter his home, he stammered back, "Sure." End of flashback. Hey, what brought back memories of my initial encounter with Shikamaru? As he kept his eyes on the pills, Choji pondered. He turned to face Jirobo, who appeared to be approaching him slowly. Choji took out the third pill after carefully opening it. As time seemed to fly by, Choji thought, the chili pill. Supposedly rumored to increase one's chakra 100-fold. He then put it in his mouth. When he bit into it, he experienced an almost limitless chakra surge. His first words were, "Earth style, earth-shaking palm," as he hit Choji. From behind Jirobo, Choji said, "You missed me." Jirobo spun around in time to see a now slim boy with a butterfly-shaped chakra wing protruding from his back. Jirobo was confronted by Choji, who then struck Jirobo in the stomach with his fist. After a second delay, Jirobo took off in reverse. As Choji slammed his foot on top of Hirobo's chest, causing Hirobo's back to form a crater beneath him, he thought calmly, "I wonder how long I have to live." As Choji approached Jirobo, he began to concentrate all of the chakra into his arm. The Konoha grabbing her heart, Ino gasped and dropped a vase of flowers. What am I experiencing?" Ino thought as the pain in her heart quickly subsided. Inoichi asked his daughter, "Sweetie, what's wrong?" Ino calmly remarked, "Just a slip-up, Daddy." That was really strange, Ino thought. Choji reached Jirobo, who was trying to get out of the little crater but was failing. According to Choji, "I will end this fight with the next attack." Choji shouted, "Butterfly bullet bombing," as he slammed his fist into Hirobo's stomach with such force that his internal organs turned to liquid and his bones to dust. As soon as he felt the poison of the chili pill start to take effect, Choji immediately captured his heart. As he staggered away from the body, Choji reflected sorrowfully, "My only regret is that I couldn't tell Ino that I loved her." As butterflies began to fly all around him, he collapsed to his knees. As Choji fell onto his stomach, he watched the butterflies as his vision began to go black. As Choji passed out, he thought, "Goodbye Shikamaru, Ino, Asuma, Sensei, Dad, Mom." The ground trembled as Naruto, Kiba, Neji, and Shikamaru were jumping away from Choji. Kiba questioned, "What the hell was that?" Naruto took a whiff of the air. With some concern, Naruto remarked, "Choji's chakra is rising at an alarming rate." Those wouldn't be used by Choji, Shikamaru pondered. When Naruto sensed another tremendous chakra surge, his eyes widened. Naruto cried out in concern, "How crap, he just increased his chakra by at least 100 times. Shikamaru lamentably stated, "He did use them." "Used what?" inquired Neji. Shikamaru informed them of the Akamichi food pills. They are 3 pills, each making the user more powerful with each pill taken, but each one poisons the user. Shikamaru stated to them, "The weakest is the spinach pill. It is survivable along with the second pill, the curry pill, but you would need immediate medical help. But the last pill, the chili pill, has an almost guaranteed death warrant on it." Shikamaru sighed. If he used that one and doesn't get immediate medical attention from Tsunade-sama, he will most likely die. Naruto touched Shikamaru on the shoulder. I am sure Choji will live, he is one of the strongest people I know of. Naruto stated to him. Shikamaru remarked, you are right. Neji saw chakra all around them and said, guys, something is wrong. When Neji turned off his Byakugan, Naruto questioned, what is it? Neji informed them, chakra surrounds us. He was told by a man with 6 arms, you have some good eyes, boy. As he spat a massive web at them, Kidomaru declared, I am Kidomaru and I will be killing you. Naruto managed to cut through some of the web, but his left arm and leg became trapped in it. The older man spit out a string, which wrapped around the blade, and Naruto growled at him, saying, that is a nifty sword, maybe I should take it. Before a huge lightning bolt struck the man, sending him flying backwards into some trees, Naruto said, I wouldn't do that. Taking the blade, Naruto cut the webbing that secured his arm and leg. Just before he was struck in the chest by a web that sent him flying into a tree, Naruto tore his arm and leg away from the webbing. Naruto struggled to break free, but his arms were limited in their range of motion. As he attempted to escape, Naruto thought, damn, this isn't good. Why is Naruto stalling for time? Shikamaru pondered. As Neji examined the webbing with his Byakugan, he thought, this webbing has chakra running through it. He cut the webbing neatly after focusing a small amount of chakra into his fingers. As he approached Shikamaru in silence and effortlessly dispatched him, Neji thought. Naruto knew how this was made, but he couldn't make a chakra needle small enough to cut it. While they were traveling to the struggling Kiba, Neji whispered to him, be quiet. The man approached Naruto, who was still fighting the webbing. Naruto smirked as he abruptly stopped struggling. Kidomaru demanded, what is so funny, boy? Naruto poured chakra into his cloak, making it heavier, and said, just this. After beginning to strain against itself, the webbing finally broke. The loose strands of webbing were wiped from Naruto's shoulder. Naruto used Kidomaru's head to level his katana. As he moved in front of Naruto, Neji said, Naruto, let me fight him. And Naruto said, okay Neji. As he shifted his katana and leapt away after Kiba and Shikamaru. Naruto whispered to him, don't die, Tenten and Hinata. Haim will not like that. Kidomaru told him, splitting up won't help you. Kidomaru gave him a savage grin and said, Sakin, Yukon, and Tayuya are the 3 strongest of us. There is no way they will live. Neji simply dropped into the Hyuga gentle fist style without responding. He was told by Neji, I will not lose. He began jabbing at Kidomaru as he charged at him in an effort to stop his chakra. Kidomaru avoided Neji's blows with ease. He is just as agile as Hinata. Sama. Neji thought as he hit him once more while catching Kidomaru off guard with a roundhouse kick. Kidomaru cried out, the gentle fist style doesn't have any kicks. As he launched into a barrage of attacks, Neji informed him, Hinata. Sama and I have been adding kicks into it. Now, Kidomaru was avoiding and blocking the deadly blows Neji was delivering. Neji immediately dropped his posture. Neji yelled, 8 try. Grams 60. 4 palms. As he struck Kidomaru. Neji yelled, 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms 16 palms, 30. 2 palms 60. 4 palms. As he scored each hit in straight succession. Kidomaru slumped over and slid back. As Kidomaru stood up straight, Neji remarked, you are not that strong. His skin was peeling off and cracking. Kidomaru said, you broke my shell. His skin came off. Kidomaru informed him, I have webbing covering my body to prevent myself from getting hurt. How can I defeat him? As he watched him bite his thumb, Neji pondered. Kidomaru called out, summon. As a huge spider materialized. Kidomaru pointed to the enormous spider and said, I would like you to meet the queen of the spiders. Hundreds of tiny spiders began to fall on him as its thorax began to open. Kaden. Neji cried out as he began to spin, encircling himself with a dome of chakra. Neji flung off every spider that landed on him. The enormous spider hissed at Neji, and he stopped spinning. As the spider lowered itself slightly, releasing a large number of spiderlings, Kidomaru said calmly, she doesn't like that you killed her babies. When Neji remembered Hinata's training, he thought, I will not be able to use the Kaden to block all of them. Neji lowered his stance and looked up at the falling spiderlings, thinking, I hope this works. Kidomaru pondered, what is that stance? It is lower than his previous attack. Neji made long whips out of his chakra needles. Neji yelled, 8 try. Grams 120. 8 palms. And began swinging his chakra whips at the spiderlings. An even more sophisticated assault? Kidomaru pondered. As he launched the last attack, Neji slashed all the spiders in half and severed 2 of the Spider Queen's legs, causing it to teleport back to its home plane. 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 30. 2 palms, 60. 4 palms, and 120. 8 palms. He cried. As the last of the spiders dropped around him, Neji got to his feet. He exhaled and turned to face the man. As Kidomaru began to spit orange webbing at him, Neji ducked to the side and heard the webbing strike the tree behind him. Kidomaru said, "You weren't called the strongest rookie of the year for nothing." Just in time, Neji turned to see a tree topple. Kidomaru began to leap around Neji, who was evading every attack, and he declared, "This is my densest webbing. It is stronger than steel and I can manipulate it to any shape I want." As he narrowly avoided an attack, Neji thought, if he keeps doing this, he will find the blind spot. When Neji saw Kidomaru stop, he thought, I have to hit him again. Neji took advantage and ran low at him. Neji's palm made contact with Kidomaru's stomach, causing him to cough up blood and fly backwards. 8 try. Graham's empty palms. Neji cried. That should have killed him, Neji thought, but then she heard Naruto caution against assuming anything. Kidomaru stood with a strange black marking spreading across his skin and said, I cannot believe you brought this out of me. As he developed horns, his skin began to darken and change color. Kidomaru inquired, Are you scared? Calmly, Neji said, No. He saw the corrupted chakra coursing through Kidomaru's body. Neji thought, that chakra isn't normal. Kidomaru began to spit daggers at Neji from all sides and said, I have figured out your weakness, Hyuga boy. Neji yelled, Kaden, and began to spin, continuing until the final webbing dagger struck it and bounced off. The strain of the battle was beginning to take its toll on Neji's breathing. In an attempt to lure him as far away from the rest of his team as possible, Neji began to back up and flee, thinking, I don't know if I have enough chakra to beat him. Alongside Kidomaru, he began to make a bow out of the silk he was spitting out. Kidomaru spit out a long arrow and threw some silk towards some trees to prevent himself from falling, saying, Spider bow, fierce bow. He let go of the arrow after pulling the string as far back as he could. The arrow remained on target as he watched, but Neji ducked behind a tree, allowing the arrow to pass through it just short of his shoulder. Kidomaru spat out another arrow with a spiral cone for a tip and remarked, Seems my arrow was diverted by the trunk of the tree. As he drew the arrow back and let it fly, he saw Neji begin to run once more. Satisfied, he watched the arrow blast through trees. As he used his chakra to deflect the arrow and force it through his shoulder, Neji thought, I won't be able to dodge it like before. The arrow tore through his shoulder, causing him to wince in agony. He saw a huge crater formed when the arrow struck the earth. Neji thought, I can't take another hit. Kidomaru recollected the moment he was throwing the daggers at him and recalled the one that just missed him, saying, he saw it coming. Kidomaru spit out another arrow, this time with a web attached to the back for control, and thought, so I have to keep the arrow in that blind spot. Neji began to stumble away, but Kidomaru pulled the string back and let it go. Until the very last moment, Kidomaru was guiding the arrow to remain in Neji's blind spot. As the Konoha shinobi fled, the arrow got closer and closer. Neji turned abruptly, allowing the arrow to pass through his stomach. As he grasped the string and pushed his chakra into it and back to Kidomaru, Neji thought feebly, he forgets I can see chakra. After witnessing Kidomaru cough up blood, Neji used his chakra to cut the string and used his remaining strength to jump into the air. His mouth was dripping blood, and he was panting. Neji gasped, 8 try. Grams, 120. 8 palms. And then launched his assault on the helpless shinobi. Neji managed to complete the assault on the now dead man with the words, 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 30. 2 palms, 60. 4 palms, 120. 8 palms. The two fell in a heap to the ground. As he pushed himself to stand out of sheer will to see Tenten again, Neji thought, I have to survive for Tenten. Blood was streaming freely from Neji's stomach and shoulder as he staggered away from the dead shinobi. After reaching a tree, Neji leaned against it and slid to the ground, his eyes beginning to close. His strength was ebbing away from him every second. Here is another one and he is in bad condition, was Neji's final sound before she passed out? Suddenly, Naruto snarled in rage. What is wrong? Inquired Shikamaru. Naruto told him, I can't feel Neji's chakra anymore. Neji was considered the strongest genin in Konoha. I am sure he just used too much chakra, said Shikamaru to him. A voice said, I doubt it. Everyone turned to face the man in front of them and said, Kidomaru could beat him easily. Naruto and Kiba both detected 2 scents emanating from the man. With determination, Kiba said, You two go on ahead. Akamaru and I will handle him. Naruto told him that if he killed Kiba, Hinata and Shino would never forgive him. As he watched his friends jump away, Kiba declared, I won't die, Naruto. The man said, strong words for someone who will die. As Kiba swallowed, Sakin said, oh, and by the way, I am Sakin and I am the leader of the Sound 4. Kiba made a hand signal and said, come on boy. Beast mimicry. Kiba cried, his features beginning to take on a more savage appearance. Kiba screamed, piercing fang, and began to spin and fly in the man's direction. When Kiba stopped spinning after knocking the man back, he leapt back towards Akamaru. Sakin charged at the pair, kicking Akamaru out of Kiba's way and striking Kiba in the stomach with a devastating blow. Sakin remarked, that attack almost hurt. As he stumbled and lunged at Sakin, Kiba thought, God, I couldn't see him. Sakin easily sidestepped all of Kiba's blows. As Kiba barely dodged a wide kick before being struck in the jaw, causing him to skid away, he thought, I can't hit him. Behind Sakin, Kiba caught a glimpse of Akamaru. Kiba was shocked to hear a second voice say, brother, the dog is coming up behind us. Sakin said, turning away from Kiba, thanks Yukon. Kiba screamed, piercing fang, and began to spin in Sakin's direction. Kiba was stopped in his tracks and thrown to Akamaru when an arm suddenly emerged from Sakin's shoulder. Kiba landed in a crouch after twisting in midair. Jumping onto Kiba's back, Akamaru did so. Man-beast clone. Kiba cried out as Akamaru transformed into a savage Kiba. Kiba shouted, come on Akamaru, fang over fang, as the two began to spin and dance around Sakin and Yukon in an attempt to strike them. Irritated, Yukon said, brother, why aren't you finished with them? Sakin answered, but brother, this is too much fun, can I at least play a little longer? While Kiba and Akamaru struck Sakin Akamaru low and Kiba high, Yukon remarked, fine, but you had better not wake me again. Sakin flew backwards due to the dual attack, but he managed to twist during his flight and land safely on his feet. Sakin remarked, you almost woke brother. As he and Akamaru began to circle them, Kiba snarled, like I care. Pulling out a kunai, Kiba hurled it at Sakin. When an arm emerged from Sakin's shoulder and caught the kunai just before it could strike Sakin, Kiba grinned. As Yukon put it, brother, it's time to end this now. Sakin grumbled, but brother, I haven't had my fun yet. Sakin seemed somewhat placated when Yukon told him, there are still the other two brats. As Sakin charged at Kiba, he said, okay, we can kill him now. Sakin yelled, multiple punches, as Kiba was repeatedly struck by 4 fists until the force of the blow knocked him back. As Akamaru leapt toward Kiba, he thought feebly, I can't be beaten by them. Kiba managed to get to his feet. As they began to spin and fly in the direction of Sakin and Yukon, Kiba yelled, let's go Akamaru. Fang over fang. Together. Sakin and Yukon stopped the two attacks. Sakin yelled, multiple kicks, as 3 legs kicked out and made contact with Akamaru and Kiba. Akamaru's clone jutsu was defeated by the force of the kicks. Next to Kiba, Akamaru skidded to a stop. A second head appeared on Sakin's shoulder as Kiba was panting. Sakin said, brother, can we use it? Yes we can. Yukon said to Sakin, who smiled as the 2 heads developed horns and marks began to appear on their exposed skin and faces. Kiba threw a food pill at Akamaru, who chomped on it, while he popped another into his mouth, thinking, I just learned the technique. Kiba commanded, Akamaru used dynamic marking. As Akamaru spun around, vanished, and emerged above the 2 shinobi, urinating on them. Sakin shouted, why the hell did he piss on us, as Akamaru materialized on Kiba's back. Sakin smirked and said, that weak clone won't work against us. As his features began to become more feral, Kiba made a hand sign and remarked, good thing we aren't doing a clone jutsu. Kiba shouted, man-beast combination transformation. Double. Headed wolf. As a huge cloud of smoke materialized. A huge white double. Headed wolf with 1 paw resting on a rock pillar stood in front of them as it cleared. Kiba yelled, Fang wolf fang. As they gathered into a massive spinning cyclone. Sakin narrowly avoided him, but his arm was severely cut. In a deep voice, Kiba remarked, we are spinning so fast that we could miss you, but the wind will still cut you. Sakin said, this doesn't look good brother. Fang wolf fang. Kiba exclaimed as he began to spin once more, striking the 2 brothers squarely in the middle of their bodies, severing them in 2. Behind the 2, Kiba and Akamaru skidded to a stop. As his brothers and limbs exploded from his body, Sakin remarked, I think he thinks he has 1 brother. What are the 2 of them? As Kiba gazed at the newly grown half-scaly body, he thought. As they stood, Kiba and Akamaru snarled at the 2. As Kiba gazed at the two, he thought, I can only perform this attack once more before we have to release the jutsu. Fang Wolf Fang. Kiba shouted, turning to face the two. Inquiring, Sannin said, what should we do, brother? As the two thumbed and went over some hand signals, Yukon remarked, you know damn well what to do. The two shouted, summon, as a huge wall materialized, and Kiba and Akamaru struck it with such force that it was severely dented. The wall puffed away as Kiba and Akamaru's jutsu was released, and Yukon said, wow, that is some attack. He dented Rashomon. Akamaru and Kiba fell to the ground after Kiba grabbed him. Kiba landed behind a boulder on his back. As he removed his coat and put Akamaru inside, Kiba reflected, if they were able to defeat my strongest attack, I don't know if I will be able to beat them. Kiba stood and walked out from behind the boulder to face the Sannin, pleading, please be okay, Akamaru. Where is Yukon? When two arms encircled Kiba's arm, he was about to punch Sannin when he thought this. Kiba held his arm back when he noticed that two arms had grown out of his bicep. Sannin approached Kiba and said, this is our Kekai Genkai, brother is able to enter his opponent's body and control it. Kiba gripped his other fist and thought, this isn't good. When Kiba heard a bark and saw a blur of white flies fly by him while Akamaru peed in Sannin's eyes, burning him, he thought, he can only control that side. Ah! Sannin rubbed his eyes and screamed. As Sannin staggered in the direction of the river, Yukon yelled at him, go wash your eyes, fool. Yukon didn't notice when Kiba slipped a kunai out of his pouch. Yukon and Kiba both flinched in agony as Kiba stabbed himself in the stomach, saying, you can control that part of my body but not this side. With blood streaming from his mouth, Kiba said, and you share my body. Yukon clutched his stomach in agony as he fell from Kiba. As Sannin wiped his eyes, Kiba clumsily seized the once again unconscious Akamaru and staggered off. With Akamaru on his head, Kiba entered the water and began swimming. With Yukon and Sannin heard a groan of pain after he had finished washing his eyes. He turned quickly to find Yukon in a pool of blood on the ground. Sannin went to his brother and exclaimed, brother. Yukon sank into his brother's body and complained angrily, took you long enough. I will need a lot of rest. When Sannin noticed Kiba's coat peeking out from behind a boulder, he said, I am going to make that brat pay. He sneaked up to it with a savage grin. It was only the coat, he realized as he jumped around the corner. With a sly smile, he picked it up and put it on. Sannin thought, now that I smell like him, he won't be able to smell me. Alongside Kiba as Kiba floated down the river, a branch was held in his hand. As he walked to the shore, Kiba muttered, it will be alright, boy. Stumbling into the forest, he hauled himself up onto the shore. Kiba could smell someone nearby when she sniffed the air. Who is that? Kiba thought as he staggered forward. Kiba closed his eyes, leaned his back against a tree and slid down, thinking, I hope it is someone to help me. Kiba said out loud, I will just rest for a second. Kiba heard something approaching him with his sensitive ears. As Kiba remained there with his eyes closed, he thought, so he has found me already. Sannin declared, I am going to kill you for hurting my brother. Kiba gave a half-hearted response, hey, I was aiming to maim him. When he heard clicking sounds, Kiba informed him, oh, and you should know that the Inuzuka clan also has heightened hearing along with smell. As a puppet materialized behind Sannin, Kiba thought, so it is the puppet boy. Sannin was drawn into the puppet by the cloth wrapping that encircled his body before he realized. A voice exclaimed, secret black technique. Iron Maiden. As more bladed puppet parts pierced Black Ant's torso, killing Sannin as blood gushed from the puppet. Kankuro joked, geez, you Konoha shinobi sure have a sick sense of fun. As Kiba was helped up by Kankuro, Kiba grinned and said, thanks Kankuro. As he assisted Kiba to some of the medics, Kankuro informed him, there are some medics nearby. Tsunade. Sama sent Lee ahead of us to help you guys. Neji Hyuga and Choji Akamichi are in serious conditions. Kiba inquired, who else did Tsunade? Sama send? Kankuro said, Gaara and Tamari. Kankuro blinked when Kiba asked, Shikamaru's girlfriend. With confusion, Kankuro inquired, Tamari is Shikamaru's girlfriend. I thought she despises him. As they arrived at the medic camp and saw medics trying to stabilize Neji and Choji, Kiba confessed, you know what, I am not even sure they are going out, it is just I saw them having dinner together a while back and assumed they were dating. A medic approached him. Kiba told the woman, go to my friends, they need your help more. She said, but you were stabbed. It was self-inflicted, just give me some plasma pills and bandages, I am sure Kankuro and I could bandage the wound up. Kiba replied. Kankuro cried, who said I would help? I just volunteered you. Kiba grinned. When the medic returned with several bandages and a handful of plasma pills, Kankuro yelled, "I hate you, dog boy." Kiba's shirt came up. As he took a few plasma pills and bandaged the wound, Kiba said, "Puppet boy, hold my shirt up." "What about the puppy?" inquired the doctor. A voice behind the two said, "I will take him." As Kiba started to perspire, a second voice said, "You have done something stupid, pup." At the sight of the two women, Kankuro turned and nearly puked. Kiba muttered, "Hello, Nay. Shan-ka-san." He was as terrified as Kankuro, if not more so. As Hana took the puppy and began to examine him, Tsume demanded, "What have you done to Akamaru?" "We had to do anything to at least stall for time for Shikamaru and Naruto to catch up with Sasuke and the girl." Kiba responded with defense. Tsume gave her son a critical look that made him perspire. "Good answer, pup, but if you ever risk your life like this again and you survive, I will kill you myself, then have Tsunade Sama revive you, Sahana. Chan can take her turn at kicking your ass." Tsume made a threat to her son. Tsume commanded, "Kudamaru, take Kiba and Akamaru to Konoha immediately." As Kankuro's mouth fell open and he collapsed backwards, unconscious, Kudamaru said, "Okay, Tsume. Chan." Gazing at the unconscious Suna shinobi, Kudamaru said, "I think I scared the pup, Tsume. Chan." As she watched her former partner, Kiba, Hana, and Akamaru depart for Konoha, Tsume remarked, "It isn't every day someone hears a dog talk." A medic said, "Tsume Sama, where are the next people?" Tsume took a whiff of the air. Tsume commanded, "Follow me." She bounded off, 6 medics following closely behind. Shikamaru and Naruto were jumping in the direction of the final Sound 4 member, who was also carrying Sasuke. Naruto tried to take advantage of the fact that she had stopped when a second man suddenly materialized and seized the barrel. Kimimaru. Sama. Tayuya stumbled at that. Kimimaru said to the girl, who was a little shaky, "You were late, Tayuya." Tayuya said anxiously, We had trouble." As he lifted the barrel onto his shoulder and bounded off, Kimimaru informed her, "I will be taking Sasuke Sama to Orochimaru." Without any delay, Naruto pursued the man before Tayuya or Shikamaru could intervene. Tayuya informed him, "You know that kid is going to die." With a slight pout, Tayuya said, "He was cute too." Shikamaru informed her, "Naruto is strong, and he has a girlfriend." Tayuya took out a flute and said, "You don't get it." Tayuya informed him, "Kimimaru Sama beat all 4 of us at once without even trying." Shikamaru informed Tayuya, "And you do not know Naruto's power. No one in Konoha can know how powerful he is." Tayuya let out a sigh. "You know, if you surrender, I am sure Orochimaru Sama would let me keep you." Tayuya replied. She remarked, "You are kind of cute too." As Tayuya snarled, Shikamaru said in a bored tone, "Sorry, but Tamari-chan wouldn't like that." She asked herself, "Why are all the cute ones taken?" Tayuya began to play her flute and said, "Well, it is time to kill you." Shikamaru jumped back, unsure of what to do. What is her area of expertise? Shikamaru thought as he gazed at the girl, bored. He was gathering as much information as he could about the girl. Could the opponent be rendered immobile by a high-pitched noise? Shikamaru pondered as everything began to go dark around him. Genjutsu. As he tried to sense Tayuya's attack, Shikamaru thought. He attempted to dispel the genjutsu by biting his lip, but it was unsuccessful. Shikamaru stomped on his own foot after thinking, "Shit, as long as she is playing that flute, I can't dispel the genjutsu." The genjutsu was dispelled by the pain that rushed through him. Tayuya pulled her lips away from the flute and remarked, "You are cleverer than I thought. But the Naras are known for their almost unrivaled intelligence." Tayuya replied. Tayuya began to play another song and remarked, "But that will not save you. This one moved more quickly. Does she have another genjutsu in the works?" As a club crushed the branch he was standing on, Shikamaru's senses went haywire and he leapt to another branch. Shikamaru gazed at the 3 creatures that resembled demons. What do those things mean? Shikamaru pondered as he avoided the clawed creature's downward slash. When she momentarily stopped playing, Tayuya said, "These are my doki." The person with the club began attacking Shikamaru after she altered the tempo. He continued to avoid the club. Shikamaru began to flee from Tayuya and took refuge in the leaves of a branch. The creatures began to look around for him, and he watched warily. When Shikamaru noticed 2 of the creatures looking for him, he thought, "I have to think of something. Where is the third one, I wonder?" After giving it some thought, he bounded forward, shattering the branch into splinters. As he gazed at the creature with the club, he thought, "Damn, that was close." Abruptly, the armless one kicked him, and he ducked. Shikamaru thought, I am at a serious disadvantage. Shikamaru noticed something when Tayuya said, "It is useless to fight." The tempo abruptly quickened, and a transparent object with mouths began to emerge from the creature's mouths. As Shikamaru barely missed one of the transparent objects, he thought, "This isn't good, I don't know what that will do." In an attempt to stop Tayuya from playing, Shikamaru threw a kunai at her, but the creature with the club blocked it with its own club. When one of the transparent objects passed through his arm and he felt a significant amount of chakra leave him, he thought, "Damn." Tayuya blurted out, "Those mouths eat a person's chakra," before carrying on with her flute playing. As Shikamaru ducked another blow from the club and twisted in an almost impossible way to avoid the mouths, he thought, "This just got harder." He thought dryly, "This is getting to be too much trouble," and then he leapt away from the creatures to hide once more. He entered some trees once more. Shikamaru thought as he swiftly surveyed the area, "I have 9 moves at most to beat her." 1. As he hurled a kunai with a flash bomb attached, Shikamaru pondered. As Shikamaru hurled 3 kunai at the demons, he thought, 2, 3, 4. Tayuya brought them together. 5. As he hurled a kunai at the string that connected the flash bomb to the kunai, slicing it, Shikamaru thought. As his shadows made contact with the demons at the same moment the flash bomb detonated, Shikamaru thought, 6, 7 and 8. Behind the 3 demons, Shikamaru leapt. As he put his hands on his knees and forced the 3 demons to imitate him, he thought, and 9. Tayuya resumed playing her flute without noticing the connecting shadows. "What's happening?" she pondered. Shikamaru stepped forward and said, "They are under my control now." The 3 creatures followed suit. Tayuya snarled at Shikamaru and chased her monsters away. Leaping at Tayuya, Shikamaru cut the flute in 2 as he slashed upward with his kunai. Shikamaru began going through hand signals right away. As shadow hands began to creep up Tayuya's body, Shikamaru yelled, "Shadow neck bind," and stopped her in her tracks. As she struggled to move, Tayuya thought, "I have to break his jutsu." Shikamaru reflected, "Even though we are this close, she is resisting." Calmly, Shikamaru said, "It is useless since we are this close." Tayuya struggled as the hands closed around her throat, saying, "It isn't over." As her skin darkened, her eyes became inverted, and horns began to grow out of her head. She thought disgustingly, "I will have to use that." What on earth became of her? Shikamaru thought as his jutsu began to wane and he sensed her further resisting it. As his jutsu released one of her arms and she punched him in the chest, causing him to slide backwards, Shikamaru thought, "Damn, she is a lot stronger now." Shikamaru looked up to see Tayuya complete a series of hand signals. She yelled, "Death by pleasure," as Shikamaru collapsed to his knees, his mouth gaping open. An irate female voice screamed, "Hey bitch, leave my man alone," as a strong gust of wind struck Tayuya's location. Tamari kicked Shikamaru as hard as she could break the genjutsu after floating in front of him. Shikamaru stood up, made a series of quick hand gestures, and then his shadow shot at Tayuya, connecting with hers and holding her in place. "You know you didn't have to kick me. I can't hold her for long." When Tamari noticed a broken finger on his hand, she said, "Don't worry." As she bit her thumb and wiped blood onto her fan, Tamari thought, he broke his finger to break the genjutsu as he fell. With a great heave of her fan, Tamari yelled, "Summoning blade dance." A weasel with one eye and a sickle appeared and began to ride the tempest she created with her fan. Shikamaru had shielded his eyes from the sounds of devastation all around him. When Shikamaru opened his eyes after everything had subsided, he saw Tamari leaning against her closed fan. "I should never aggravate her," Shikamaru reflected. Shikamaru noticed Tamari's ears darkening and said, "So I am your man?" At first, Tamari's voice cracked, "Why, you heard that?" Tamari turned to face Shikamaru, who said, "I don't mind." When Shikamaru made a hand gesture and his shadow shot beneath her, she went to give him a hug. Looking over her shoulder, she saw 4 shadow spikes supporting Tayuya. Tamari said, "Wow, she was tough." Shikamaru nodded. She turned back to Shikamaru and became timid, something Shikamaru had never imagined she would be. She asked, Does this make me your girlfriend?" With a range of emotions in her voice, including fear, hope, and something else he was unaware of. As the girl got excited, Shikamaru said, "How about we go on a date?" As Sume exploded through the trees, Shikamaru shook his head. Sume said, "Shikamaru, are you okay?" Shikamaru informed her, "Just a broken finger, and a few cuts and bruises." He hastened to add, "I have to go help Naruto." "Sorry Shikamaru, Tsunade." Sama ordered that all injured must return to Konoha no matter how simple they are. Sume stated to him, "Do not worry, we have sent many people to help your team." Temari made a very strong case, and Shikamaru reluctantly agreed.
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.